Okay, it's happening.
One.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start.
You're listening to Oregon's premier afternoon sports show. This is The Drive.
Ooh, welcome, friends, into the Sports Animal Audio Network. For the next 3 hours, we've got you covered. We're like Huggy Bear from Starsky and Hutch. I'm talking to all those that are 55 and older right now. You know what I'm talking about. I took you in a time machine there for a second. Big Hump Day show today. George Reister is going to join us. Zach Neal is going to be a guest. We're going to cram things into the last hour. Yeah, I need to reprint this out again. Sophie Cunningham says the WNBA needs a bold commissioner. Wow, Sophie. Shocked. The Brewers hound Seattle. It was ugly. Mac McIntyre audio, Mitch Dolan audio from Oregon State. Mateo Uyunglele, Dante Moore are going to be on the program with some of their comments after practice, and Dan Lanning as well. Could the Phoenix Suns be the next NBA team to be sold? Some of those topics we'll talk about. Actually, we'll talk about all of them. That's what the tease is for. Call us on the Oregon Man Clinics hotline, 541-844-3484, toll free, 877-844-3484. Open phones for the first 2 hours. So we're starting out the program with open phones. So jump on. If you want, you can take us anywhere you want to go. We're on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Sports Animal EUG are all the socials, and we are live in Roseburg, in Newport, in Medford, and in Klamath Falls. Our dear partners, will talk about them as we go through the partner program here on a Wednesday. Thanks for hopping in, kids. It is beautiful up here in the Emerald Valley, and I know that there's still a little bit of smoke blowing around as we're trying to get through the rest of the summer. Only a couple of weeks left. Football just around the corner. Next week we'll start counting hours down, but right now we're still counting days. So we have 10 days, 8 days, 7 days, 10 days till football officially, I think. Yeah, if you count this day. I always count this day. That could be a topic for something. You know, when you count days, are you counting like the day you're in, or you just start with the next day? It's kind of like 3, 2, 1. Do you go on 3? You go on 1? Do you go after 1? All right, see.
You know what it's like? It's like rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Or rock, paper, scissors.
See, that is what I'm talking about. You're feeling it. I am Doc. Right over there is Baby J. We call him that because that's what I call him.
It's not on my birth certificate.
No, it's not. Justin Grossweiner, Danny Howell, thanks for tuning in. What up, boy?
You're big on the call them what their mama named them, except for the nicknames.
Well, I think I call you Justin more than I call you Baby J on the program.
You mostly call me Baby J on the show.
And then I call you Justin other times?
It's the Justin Grossweiner. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't do that.
No, you don't do that.
No,
I've never gotten the full name treatment.
Actually, I don't think I call you by your name sometimes unless I'm in another room and I don't want to get up, and then I bid you to come hither.
Right. And if I'm wearing headphones and I can't hear
then you can't, and which is why I normally get up and walk into your office from my office, and because I know you got you, and I know you can hear me if I'm within a few feet of you, even though you have your headphones on.
That's true. But I have my headphones on because I'm supposed to, not because I'm distracted, which I think we need to make clear.
Perfectly clear. Dad joke as we end the show. We got a submission for a dad joke we'll use today.
We did. We got a good one.
So I want to talk about Live Golf as well. This is interesting because if you're a golfer, you are definitely on one side or the other on this whole Live Golf, PGA, and other tours. And is Live finally on life support? Seems like it. I love this last topic that we'll do in the end of the show is what location would you start a sports franchise in? I think, and I immediately, when I see something like that, you know where I'm going to go first, right?
Hawaii?
No.
Okay. Well, I don't
No.
know.
What sport are we talking about?
Well,
'Cause
that's something we could talk about.
Because I think that makes a huge difference in
What sport would you
in
like it to
terms-
be?
Well, of course, I'd love to own a football team, but
Most
that's not
profitable.
gonna well, I actually do own part of a football team.
You do. You are an owner. That's right.
I am an NFL owner. Read my bio. All right, so I do want to start out with a little bit of business. We had a guest that we thought was going to come on the program today, and if Javon's listening right now, Javon Edmonds, who is at Javon Edmonds 45 on the socials from the Syracuse Post-Standard, don't be afraid. Come on the program.
It's not too late.
Well, he's not listening. I guarantee you he's not listening.
maybe we're going to speak it into
somebody,
existence.
but say maybe somebody who knows Javon. He seems like a very well-read individual. He's a reporter. So he put Oregon at number 10 in the AP preseason poll.
By far the lowest out of any of the AP voters.
So the next lowest were at number 7. It was Bob Ballou, who covers the Longhorns for CBS Austin. And I'm looking up the line here. And after that, there was a couple that had him at 6, like Garland Gillen from LSU. Yeah, big surprise that the SEC doesn't have respect for Oregon. Kevin Carter, since I'm naming them off, there's only a few of them. I'll just name them off. Kevin Carter from CBS Sports, who covers, looks like the Gators, Oregon at 6. Matt Marshall from the Orlando Sentinel covers UCF and the Seminoles of Florida State, had Oregon at 6. Eric Hansen covers Notre Dame for blueandgold.com, had Oregon at number 6. And that's it. Everybody else had Oregon in the top 5. Or actually, you know what's interesting is that there were just a couple of outliers, like at 4 and a couple at 3, but most of them were at 1, 2, or 3. So, in fact, there was a lot right at the beginning of the list. It was like Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame, like the first 4 that I saw. Of course, these are in alphabetical order, I think, somewhat. No, they're not.
Alphabetical by first name.
No, not even
on my
that.
list, at least.
Well, on your list, not on mine. So, listen, and far be it from me. I think voting and stuff like this is extremely difficult because, again, how can you really cover every single legitimate team in college football? You can't. You just can't. So, you cover your backyard and then you kind of pick and choose the rest that you look at. So maybe, Javon, maybe you just don't. Maybe we can help educate you on Oregon a little bit.
Well, I would have just loved to hear his thoughts, right? I mean, he's significantly lower on Oregon than any other team, than any other writer, basically, that is ranking Oregon. So I just want to know what his thought process is. He has an interesting top rankings. He has Miami, number 1, Indiana, number 2, then Ohio State, Notre Dame. His best SEC team is LSU at number 5, which is significantly higher than a number of teams. It also, I know this is something we were talking about, it kind of made us think about, how do you become an AP voter? What are the qualifications?
Well, I'm going to ask. So we have some friends on this list, like Nicole Auerbach, like our buddy.
We talked to Ian Kress as well,
right? Dave Preston, our buddy Dave Preston from Washington State, Washington D.C. area, Baltimore, Washington area. Dave Preston has been a voter, and he's on here. His base of operations is covering Maryland and the schools there. But there's several people on this list. Brianna Green from Portland. She's a television reporter. She is the only one from out here, except for John Wilner. John Wilner, who has the Pac-12 shield on, not a team, but a conference. Of course, he is a longtime writer for the San Jose Mercury News. So I do think it's interesting how they would do this, and especially I think you've got a better opportunity to kind of look at teams and try and slice them and dice them in the preseason than you do in the regular season. Because again, how many games are you going to watch? You're going to watch highlights,
right?
You're going to be comping teams that are playing other teams. It's like, oh, say did that team beat this team, and then that team play the other team, and did they win? And
well, it seems like it's a perception thing, right? At this time
yep.
of year, where it's like, okay, we think this team is going to be this or that, or I like this guy or that guy.
Yeah.
But if I just would love to hear the argument at Oregon at 10. I just want to know.
So,
I want to know what he's thinking.
So, Javon, if we have to chase you down on social media, we will. That's all there is to it, because I think you need to have your voice heard for our listening audience in Medford and on the coast in Newport and Roseburg and Klamath Falls, and justify why Oregon is number 10 in your mind. And it might be just a very slight 10. I don't know. He's got Texas right in front of them, and there are a lot of people that have Texas in the top
I don't think
5.
he's super high on the SEC. He doesn't have any in the top 4. Then he has a run of them that are 4 through 9.
So this is a kid as well that I read a little bit on his background in the bio, and he was in Philadelphia for a while. He was covering Temple. So he's an East Coast, Eastboard kid. So I don't know. Again, I think there's a lot of Regency bias that comes into this. Always is, always has been, always will be. But for me, it's I think preseason stuff is just ridiculous.
Well, and you know, the thing is, what it makes you think is something like, well, he just doesn't like Oregon, which is just makes you wonder what it is, right? I mean, well, seriously, if you would significantly lower on them than anybody else is. It's not like you could say, well, there's a couple other people. It's like, no, he is way lower on him on the Ducks than anybody else is. So
we've given Javon a lot of publicity out here on the West Coast. So Javon, if you're listening, or if somebody knows Javon, a relative of Javon, used to date Javon, or just make sure he understands that he has an open invitation whenever he wants, and he can even call in today if he wants, and we'll pay for the phone call. 877-844-3484. That's the Oregon Man Clinic's hotline. We are live from the Bigfoot Beverages studios. Yes, I will go get my Diet Pepsi here in a little bit, because we have to, again, contractually obligated to do that. Again, welcome to our friends in Klamath Falls, AM 960 Sports, KLAD, our good friend Joey Kieran at The Score. In Roseburg, 1490 AM, KSKR, 92.3 FM, KWRZ, Fox Sports Newport, of course, one of our originals, KNCU at 92.7 FM, and then Joe Brett, who I talked to today, the Ace Sports Radio, 107.9, 1300 AM, KDSO. That is the network, and we are still growing that as we speak. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Dan Lanning, the difference between Dante Moore this year and last. Dan Lanning, thank God you pulled this cut. He's got an opinion on top 25 polls.
I knew you'd love it.
I love this. And believe me, I think Coach Lanning and the Dans are aligned. And where does Dan think Dan has improved the most? Was he talking about me, or is he talking about himself? I think he's talking about himself.
He was asked about himself, yes.
Okay. Now look at Jeeves brought me in a Diet Pepsi. This is awesome. All right, my friends. Around the corner, some Dan Lanning audio on the drive. Stay around.
1050 AM and 102.9 FM and the SportsAnimalEugene.com. Broadcasting from the Bigfoot Beverages Studios. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
The Ford Summer Sales Event is on now at Kendall Ford. Get to Kendall and get 0% APR, $1,000 towards your down payment, and even a complimentary 2-year premium maintenance plan. Available on select new 2026 Ford model. Get up to $11,000 in discounts off MSRP on all remaining 2025 Super Duty trucks. A new 4-wheel drive 2025 Ford Bronco Sport Heritage is priced at only $29,990. Or get into a new all-wheel drive 2026 Ford Maverick XL Crew Cab, now just $29,630. Get in on the Ford Summer Sales Event and stop by Kendall Ford today. Kendall, let's start something great.
Bid number 1FSED 79864, 3F SRF 02030, and 3F TRB 01616. Financing and approved credit $27.78 per month per $1,000 finance. See dealer for qualification to complete list of eligible vehicles, coverage details, and limitations. All factory rebates subject to change. Price does not include title registration or tax. Subject to prior sales. See dealer for details. Offer expires 8/31/26.
I've seen it. I've covered it. I'm Alex Rogers, your local farmer's agent in West Eugene. When you need auto, home, life, or business insurance, Farmers can help you protect everything you've worked so hard to achieve. I really enjoy what I do, and I can help you understand all your coverage options. When I'm your farmer's agent, you're not stuck at the mercy of some computer. I'm your advocate when you need help. Visit my office today at 1154 Garfield Street here in Eugene, or give me a call at 284-2804.
The plans you have for your property need the right equipment. Kubota has reliable tractors, utility vehicles, and mowers to help you make the most of your land, along with strong dealer support. Stop by today to explore our lineup. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0% financing or save up to $3,500, plus a first-year K-maintenance service on us. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com/disclaimers for full disclaimer.
Mid-Valley Tractor in Eugene. 40 years.
George Reisler will lead off our 5 o'clock hour. We got a long way to go to get there. But our rocket ship, that is The Drive on the Sports Animal Audio Network, will take you there sooner than you think. Some Oregon State camp, fall practice audio from Mitch Dolan and Mike McIntyre. So we go offense, defense. And we will start our trip around fall camp with Oregon. And Dan Lanning. Next segment, we'll have Mateo Uyunglele and Dante Moore. And what's the over-under on people in the national media or in the local areas that will be playing Oregon this year mispronouncing Mateo Uyunglele?
Ooh, over-under.
The over-under. Like, I mean, is it 50%? Is it 25%? Let's do a percentage.
I think it's 75 or higher. It's not 50.
You know, we helped out a lot of the announcers last year. You know how we did that, right?
By talking to them.
Well, one we talked
and
to
you
them,
gave them the tip on the nickname.
And the young Concrete. So you can call him Young Concrete, and all you have to do is spit it out once.
Concrete's an easy word to say.
And then you can go, hey, that's Young Concrete on that tackle. So yeah. So that's going to be interesting. So we'll hear from Dante Moore and Mateo, who apparently has shut down his dad.
That's what I heard. I didn't pull that one, but I did think that was funny.
Big Dave Uyunglele is a treasure. So, and
if you're on Twitter, you will definitely have seen his name pop up in the Oregon Twitter universe for sure.
Yeah, he's at every Oregon game, home and away. He's a big presence. He's a big guy with a big heart, a pleasure to talk to. So whenever you see him, Big Dave he's always willing to chew the fat with you, as they say. Thanks for hopping in here on the Bigfoot Beverages Studio. It's the Drive here on the Sports Animal Audio Network. We're also live on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can hop in there as well. You can see us. Wave to the kids, everybody. Hello, as we are live across the stratosphere and the universe. Let's dive into Dan Lanning. Listen, there's still going to be a lot of coach speak from here on out now. We're not going to hear a ton. And the video series will start hyping things up here in a couple of weeks as Boise State comes to town, and then on the road against Oklahoma State could be a scary game. I don't know. It's an early kickoff in Stillwater. That can be a really, really loud place. I'm not sure how the Cowboys are going to be this year because Oregon took them out behind the shed last year, but they literally have an entirely different team, and they're North Texas North right now in Stillwater. So we'll see what happens in week one. I'm going to be watching that score very closely, that Oklahoma State game. So Dante Moore comes back, And Dan Lanning waxes poetic on the difference between Dante this year and last
Yeah,
year.
more than anything, just knowledge of the game, and he has the answers so quick. He's able to realize that this is not going to be a good play into this look. Let's change the play. Okay, I'm hot here. Let me get rid of it. And then the ability to coach the other players around him because he knows what every single one of them is doing as well. So his knowledge, again, it's like having a coach on the field, which is huge. His leadership showing up, and there's several guys that are kind of falling into that role.
So Dan Lanning is obviously tickled pink that Dante Moore decided he was going to come back.
Yes.
It was the right decision. And now it's that, what's that next step? What's that next level? I mean, because that's the expectation now. Dante, and for the folks that are out there and listening on this, if you have never been able to encounter Dante in person, he is the most humble, and I mean, he reminds me of a little bit.
Who?
Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
The way he carries himself, he's not loud, he's not effusive, he's not the rah-rah guy.
Not a big personality.
But I love that in a quarter, because you know what he does? He just leads. It's when somebody has something important to say, they're going to listen to what Dante Moore has to say, because he's not covering up the room all the time, yakking all the time. And listen, some of those guys that are in leadership roles, that's the way they lead, and they do it very well. Dante Moore has a different approach to it. So I just like that about him.
I do too. I think that he's a very cerebral guy. It's one of those things where physically he has the tools, and it's all about what's in between his ears. And I've always liked everything he said, like everything he's explained and his reasonings for things. And it's good to hear. I think just thinking back about the last game of the season, the Peach Bowl or the Orange Bowl, which one was it? I forgot.
The Peach Bowl was the last game.
Last game, Peach Bowl. That first play, right? Not knowing, hey, that was a bad look. That's something directly related to the quote that Dan Lanning just told us. So I'm interested to see if that's true. We don't, as we've been talking about, have a lot of access to these guys. So we're just getting the word of Dan Lanning, but I think that's encouraging to hear.
Let's move to, by the way, we have figured out a new feature that we're going to have during the season starting next week. It'll be what has Javon Edmonds voted, or who did Javon Edmonds vote for in the top 10 in the AP poll? So every week we are going to give you the rundown of Javon Edmonds, and we're going to have a nice little music bed underneath it and stuff. And maybe it will be, we can start like something on social media that says we're going to send a picture of his top 10 in reverse order every day until he comes on the program, and we can tag him every day, something like that.
I think that's a great idea. I mean, we don't want to antagonize him too much, but hey,
It's not antagonizing.
I don't think so. If you're putting out your vote and it's all on public record, you should be able to talk about it, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. If you want to go hide, then don't vote.
Exactly.
I love the transparency. I love the way the AP does this, is they give us the transparency of who's voting and how they're voting. That's perfect. That's absolutely, you can't hide behind it. So yes, you have to justify it. If you're going to take the slot up, then give it to somebody else if you don't want to. If you don't want that kind of pressure, then give it up to somebody else. There's plenty of people in the country that would do that. So if you didn't hear in the first segment, Javon Edwards, who covers Syracuse for the Post-Standard, ranked Oregon 10th in the preseason poll. By far, the next lowest was Bob Ballou from CBS in Austin, who ranked Oregon 7th, which is way low still, especially since he put Texas at 5, and he has Indiana, the defending champions, at number 1. So we'll keep dissecting this. Let's get back to Dan Lanning. And speaking of the top 25 polls, Coach, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's really easy. I mean, have you ever seen a preseason poll that was right at the end of the year? I mean, it just doesn't happen very often, right? And ultimately, it's never right about all the top 25. The people that make those polls have nothing to do with the results on the field. So let's focus on the things that we control.
So, a little coach speaky, but it's the right answer, right? I mean, you don't want your coach going, Javon Edmonds from Syracuse voted us at 10. Oh, no.
I'm angst-ridden.
What are we
going to
lose
do? Sleep. What does he know that I don't know?
Tweet on the bulletin board.
No.
We need to see that and hit it every time we walk out on the field. No, they don't care.
Yeah. And we've discussed this and will continue to discuss this. I say let's get to the end of September, first week of October, and then I'll be ready to start talking about the teams in terms of what I think they're going to be able to do for the rest of the year. That's going to give me a good indication because we don't have a ton of really good preseason matchup either this year. So Oregon, their first big test, well, every week's going to be a test.
Preseason or non-conference team?
For either of the first 4 weeks of the season, we don't have a ton of great matchups. There are some that are good. But then Oregon USC near the middle end of September, that's going to be a great matchup. And you want to talk about matchups that Oregon State's going to have to face. Holy smokes, out of the gate with Texas Tech, you got Houston, you got Montana, you got it's going to be tough.
Could we learn about those two teams if, say, the Beavers ride it close with either of those two teams? Like,
imagine we'll learn a lot. Absolutely.
Imagine if Texas Tech only beats Oregon State by a 7 or something.
Would that be more reflective on Texas Tech or on Oregon State? See, that I would be interested in that because is there a hangover?
That's the thing. It's one game. It'd be hard to know.
Yeah, and it's going to be in Lubbock. No, it's at home. It's in Reser. So that Texas Tech game is at Reser.
Listen, I don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
It's just like Washington State getting Washington early in the season. I don't know. It's a good spot for that kind of matchup, I think.
Oregon Man Clinic's hotline open for you. Open phones, first couple hours, 541-844-3484 outside the Eugene area. Toll free, 877-844-3484. Let's add some more into this mix. Dan Lanning, of course, steeped in the defensive side of the football. And there was a lot of exodus from that defensive line on the second tier, mid-third tier. Guys entering the transfer portal knew they were going to have a tough time seeing the field because of what was being brought in by the Oregon coaching staff. Tosh Lupoy leaves. There's might be a different direction in the defense with Chris Hampton elevating to the defensive coordinator position. So Dan Lanning discusses what that line's going to look like in this year.
You need to be big, and I think that's probably one of the biggest differences for us over the last few years is what we've been able to do on the defensive line and what it looks like. You can't ever play with just 4 players. That positions continue to change for us throughout the years. There was a time where we kind of had a jack on a field and then a big end, and now you're like, okay, both these guys can play jack, both of them can play big end. Okay, we've had a 3 that can play 5. The more versatility you have, the better, right? And you want to be able to see guys display their talents and utilize their talents. And if we can plug people in, it always ensures that you have your best 11 on the field.
So they could do more schematically. They can also rely on if they have a couple injuries, because injuries are inevitable to happen, they can have guys that can come in and, again, still be multiple schematically. I think it's one of those things, Danny, where it's really interesting with the defensive line. You think about with Georgia a couple of years ago. I don't remember how many years ago it was now, maybe 2021, 22. It was when Dan Lanning was coach there and maybe just after, when they had all those guys on the defensive line, Jordan Davis, and they had like the whole front 7 went in the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft. And I think this defensive line could be similar to that. I don't know if it's better. Nah. That's a strong statement, but I think that this defensive line with Amari Washington and Mateo and with Bear Alexander and Tuioti, like it's really, really good. And those guys behind them too, I think eventually in the next couple of years are going to be looked at as high picks as well. So this could be one of those lines where you look at 3-4 years from now and you're like, whoa, all those 6 guys were on the same team. And that's the kind of thing that'll win you a championship. So when I talk about this is why I think Oregon is the number 1 team in the nation coming into the season. This is one of the big reasons why they're so deep in the defensive line.
So I think there are a few question marks on this Oregon team. This is definitely not one of the question marks. Defensive line, not a question mark. Linebackers, there might be a question mark there. I would say there's no question marks in the defensive backfield. Offensive line, possibly on one side or the other, there's a question mark. Skill positions across the board for Oregon?
No questions.
No questions at all. Zero questions. 0 notes. And that's where it's really interesting when you go up the road to Corvallis and start taking a look at them going, wow, you want to talk about taking a dry erase board and just wiping everything off the board and saying, okay, let's start building the house now from the ground up. We got a clean slate with some pieces that we had coming back, but now let's see what we can do with it. So it was wildly different starts to the season for both the Oregon schools in the big boy pond. The Drive on the Sports Animal Audio Network still upcoming. Mateo Uiagalelei and Dante Moore. We'll hear from them in a moment. Could the Phoenix Suns be the next NBA team to be sold? Interesting. There seems to be a flurry of activity in the NBA in this offseason, both off the court and on the court. So let's finish up with Dan Lanning. And I love this question. Where does Dan think Dan has improved the most?
Yeah, great question. Ultimately, I think there's a lot of self-study for me of, okay, what are the things that I want to attack? And I'm not necessarily going to share every single piece of that with you guys. But there's situations we've been in the past where it's like, okay, how can I handle that situation better? I think a lot of coaches might grab a practice script from last season and roll it out and say, hey, that's the same one that we're going to use. I think we've always done a really good job of saying, okay, what's the needs of our team based off this last scrimmage? How do we need to adapt practice? What are we struggling with? We struggle with tempo the other day in some of our scrimmage settings. So let's recreate that more in practice. But I think our ability to adapt, create drills that fit the skills that we have to work on has been, a strength for us in our program. And I think, again, leaning into our coaches. I've had a lot more of our coaches and our players get up in front of our team this year beyond just me, and being able to make sure that, a lot of times it's a common message, but it's coming from a different voice, which has been really refreshing to see throughout fall camp.
I'd be interested to find out, because I've talked about it before, how hard it is. And I've seen this through decades of covering teams, how hard it is to simulate game speed in practice. But I think Oregon probably gets pretty close when they start running their stuff, because the ones against the ones, they're going hard. Now, obviously, they got a red pullover on the quarterbacks that do not touch the quarterback. But otherwise, these guys are knocking heads. And that's why when you get to that first game, like Boise State, they are so eager to get out and hit somebody else than the guy that's their teammate from across the line with them. But I think that's an interesting message, that he's kind of stepping back a little bit and letting other people stand up in front of the room and give their message, which is a common theme message.
No, and I think it's one of the things that you got to love about Dan Lanning. He's always willing to self-assess. He's always trying to get better, and it seems like every year that he has gotten a little better. Let's not forget when Dan Lanning first got to the University of Oregon. I mean, he still goes for it on fourth down at times, but I mean, people were massively critical of some of the decisions he's made. And I think that
they wouldn't have been if they worked, to say,
well, 100%.
So
I mean, some of them though, it's like the third, whatever, or the fourth, and whatever against Washington. I think people have some legitimate questions about. But it's one of those things where he's constantly willing to learn. And I think that the way that the playoffs have ended the last couple of years, I think that it's one of those things he's had to look in the mirror a little bit after those things. But it's also easy to forget, Danny, that what is this, his fifth year? I mean, this guy wasn't a thing 6 years ago. Like, he is such a young head coach.
No, people said Dan who?
Exactly.
When he got hired, all they knew was Georgia, and that's all they saw, SEC, but he was not on people's radar. There were a lot of other names on people's radar.
100%. And there were other candidates that were legitimately good candidates that he was a better candidate than, it turns out. And it's one of those things where people just lose the fact, because he's had so much success so quickly, he's held on this different standard than a normal coach that's been around for 5 years. Like, it's just really amazing.
Mateo Uiagalelei, Dante Moore. We've talked about them often, and we will continue to do so. Let's hear from the quarterback. Let's hear from the kid that they call Young Concrete as we roll on here for a Wednesday. It's Hump Day on The Drive, the Sports Animal Audio Network, live in Klamath Falls, Roseburg, Newport, and Medford. Back with more here on the Sports Animal Audio Network.
At Mercedes-Benz of Eugene, we do things a little bit differently. We're one of the last independently owned automotive dealerships with a young and energetic sales staff, no pressure sales tactics, and you don't have to travel outside of Linn County to get the best deal possible. We have more than 200 new and pre-owned vehicles in stock now, and we invite you to come see for yourself at Mercedes-Benz of Eugene.
Hello, my friends listening at the Running Y. Down right outside of Klamath Falls. Down there in Myrtle Creek, in Douglas. Listening on the Score. My homies at Nye Beach. And Seal Rock. Great sushi in Seal Rock. And then, of course, Ashland, Central Point, Phoenix, Talent, out to Eagle Point on the Ace down in the Medford, the Rogue Valley. You're locked into the Sports Animal Audio Network. Thanks, friends. Our new little experiment. We're syndicating this little program from Eugene, Oregon, and the Emerald Valley. I'm Doc. Right over there's Baby J. Hello.
Hello.
Our phone number, as we have the Oregon Athletics hotline open for you, locally in the Willamette Valley at 541-844-3484, toll free for everyone else outside the direct listening audience here on the originating station, the Sports Animal, 877-844-3484. Your comments, welcome. You heard Dan Lanning wax poetic about Dante Moore, about the top 25, his defensive line, and where he thinks he's improved the most. He's not giving away everything. He says, there's stuff I'm not going to tell you guys. I didn't say it. He didn't say it like that.
He did give one of those yesterday.
I'm not telling you guys this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
He's allowed to. I don't have any problem with it.
Absolutely, he's allowed to. Dan's, I'll tell you what, this is probably an age thing as well. Like a Nick Saban or whatever, he'd be more gruff and everything about it. And I think Nick Saban's gotten better at how to be a little bit more media savvy. But guys like him and Dabo Sweeney, and going back to the day with Bobby Bowden, who was the aw shucks guy, even like Joe Paterno, some of the old guard, he didn't care about Twitter or YouTube or Twitch, or, by the way, we're on all of those.
We are
streaming live. But Dan Lanning understands social media. Dan Lanning understands the connection because he is of a younger generation. He understands that connection with players he's trying to recruit. So he's incredibly savvy, and the advice Dan Lanning gets, I say, top notch. Give those people a raise.
Nothing more exciting than when Dan Lanning tweets out a duck.
Multiple ducks. You know something's coming, baby. All right, Mateo Uiagalelei, Dante Moore. Let's get to the quarterback. Quarterback number 5 on his jersey, number 1 in your hearts. There's differences. There's growth that you have to have as a player. And Dante Moore made the decision. He could have gone high in the NFL draft last year. He decided, I'm coming back to Eugene because I think we got another step we can take. And so Dante Moore was asked the question about the difference in his game.
Yeah, me personally, when he asked me that question, I just thought about just my process of how much I've been so much, dialed in the details. Of course, last year I was learning a lot. Of course, that was my first time, taking over the team and being able to play. But just being able to be, this year, just, have the knowledge I have now. And of course, this off season, being able to push with Coach Love and just really appreciate my process between my body, my mind, if it's yoga, if it's all these things to help me to make sure I stay productive throughout my days. And then the team, the scrimmage was great. Defense made great plays. We made great plays. But I kind of feel like within myself, I've gotten better, of course, just protecting the football, making smart reads, and just be able to use my legs more. Put on some weight, put on some speed, and just being able to embrace my game and, help the offense get into great cause as well.
What you doing over there, Danny?
The yoga thing.
You like that?
Have you done yoga?
I have never done yoga, and
Okay.
I know it's one of those things. I've always told myself that it's something I need to do because of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, of all people, who
That's pretty random.
is on record saying how much he extended his career by starting yoga in his 30s, and we all know how long he went and how effective he was. So, yes, I did not watch Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but I know the effectiveness of yoga because of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
So Dante Moore, this kid has, we've seen him, if you've been following the Ducks, we've seen him blossom over the last couple of years, and coming back home, went down to UCLA, was in the hinterlands there, was not a pleasant experience for him in the big city or with Chip Kelly. And we just talked about social media a moment ago. Well, Dante says being off social media is helping in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, not being on social media. I think that's the biggest thing I've been doing. Of course, if it comes to like deals and things, I just have my team handle all that. But just something that Coach Landon brought up to me, something I learned from Bo Nix, being able to see him and him and Coach Landon talking that he didn't go through, he wasn't on social media through fall camp. And in our generation, we're addicted to it. We love tablets, we love iPads and everything. And I fall victim to it as well. I love being on Instagram late at night, but sleep's important. I have a lot of priorities. I'm trying to maximize it and go attack. So just being off social media and really giving the 100% effort and attention to my teammates.
Justin, sleep's important.
Well, I can promise you it's not because I'm on social media, but it is very relatable. I'm doing other things that are media related, but not social media necessarily.
Okay.
I can totally understand from his perspective why he wants to do this. He wants to lock in. You always hear about LeBron at some point during the playoffs or right before the playoffs. He'll go in his playoff darkness mode and he won't tweet or whatever. So it's understandable. I think that these athletes, they need to have their own safe space. Social media can be this thing that the reason it's there is
rabbit
because
hole,
it gives
baby.
us dopamine hits.
Yeah,
It literally, we see things, we get likes, and it makes you literally like feel good. And I think that when it's on the other side of it, and I'm sure Dante has seen the other side of it based on.
Pardon me, he certainly has.
He certainly has, and so he's been on both sides of it, I'm sure. And for him, it's I'm sure something that just is a good protection for his mental safe space, and that's what he should have.
Coaches have talked about this. I mean, it even goes down to the high school level now. When a kid unfortunately makes an error and people start blowing them up on social media, it can affect the psyche and the confidence of a player.
And that can kill their career.
You gotta have a strong mental constitution if you're going to play high-level college athletics. So the quarterback room, we talked about it a bit earlier this week on this program, and thanks for tuning into The Drive on the Sports Animal Audio Network, live in Roseburg and in Medford, Newport, and Klamath Falls. Happy to be along with you here for a Wednesday hump day to get you through the middle of your week, wherever and however. We've talked about the quarterback room in Oregon, and it's off the charts. You probably got 3 guys in there that could start on any team. Obviously, one of them is Dante Moore. Dylan Raiola is the other one that's coming off injury from Nebraska and the transfer. He was a 5-star recruit. Brock Thomas has shown he can handle the spotlight. He had to last year for Oregon. And then Achilles Smith Jr., I mean, is just flinging it around. And that's not even the entire, I mean, there's more in the cupboard that's going to be coming. So Dante Moore discusses how he is feeding off and how he sees the other quarterbacks in that room.
Yeah, the quarterbacks have been doing a great job. I mean, just myself and the other quarterbacks, just the way we communicate in the film room, the joy we bring to the room, the joy we bring to the field, the energy. Achilles has been doing a great job. I mean, when he first came into now, the way he can go through progressions, the way he can escape, use his legs. He's 6'6", 245. So, I mean, he looks like Cam Newton out there running around. But overall, he just makes great plays. And, I mean, overall, it even goes down to Ryder Hayes, the way he has so much attention to detail, the way he pushes us in indie groups and pushes the herd. And everybody's pouring into this team. And as a quarterback, you're always looked at as the leader, but every other position is pushing us as well to be leaders too.
I can imagine what it is like for a guy like Dante Moore, who knows he has his job locked up, I'm sure, and wants to continue to get better and push, but he's in a room where he knows he's the guy. I did think it was really interesting because we heard from the quarterback's coach yesterday, and he kind of mentioned Achilles Smith Jr. a decent amount. And right there, Dante was kind of making it known that there's been some progression with Achilles Smith Jr. And Achilles Smith Jr. is a really interesting piece for this team, I think. Not because I think he's going to play this season, but because he's one of those guys in terms of the future of Oregon. People, I think some at least, have concerns over the fact that Oregon continues to bring in these transfer guys, such as a Dylan Raiola. And that leaves, a legacy recruit like Achilles Smith Jr., who certainly has potential. Like you said, he would be a really nice quarterback for a lot of teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested. Is Achilles Smith Jr. ever going to play for Oregon? I don't know if that question has a definitive answer right now, but I do think that he will have an opportunity next season. If he is a Duck, he will be able to compete with Dylan Raiola. And I think that there is an opportunity for him. I don't think it's this kind of thing where Oregon is just going to bring in these transfer guys year after year. And I know I'm just running on long here, but you have to think about who they have literally brought in. Bo Nix, ton of experience. They obviously chose him over Ty Thompson. Then you brought in a Dylan Gabriel, who had maybe the most experience ever in college football history. And then you bring in a Dante Moore. Like, this just doesn't happen every year. So I think that it's something that I'm interested to see how it plays out, but I expect Oregon to develop their own recruits, and especially in that quarterback room.
You can follow us on all the social media platforms, Sports Animal EUG, and also the website. You can tune into that and like it. Well, I don't know if you can like it, but you can bookmark it, Sports Animal EUG.com. A lot of landing platforms there for a lot of the information that we're talking about, and also the podcast. Wherever you podcast, we turn this show into a podcast about 2 hours 15 minutes. We slice out all the commercial matter, and you can just listen to it straight on through, and all the interviews. And coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, we'll have a couple of them for you. George Reister is going to join us, former NFL great. Lots to talk about with him about the NFL exhibition season, the preseason. And then Zach Neal from Duckswire will have some more information on the stuff we're talking about right now. One more cut. Let's get to Matayo Uiagalelei. We talked about the defensive line and how we think that's going to be one of the bellwethers for Oregon this season. And he talks about the D linemen and what they were working on and what they can work on in the offseason to improve.
Could be, finding new moves, or just focusing on the little details, just like my get off. Like if you ask any D-line coach in the country, my get off, my approach is like pretty much the most important thing. So I think it's a combination of both, seeing where I could add, into my game, like different things. What can I work off certain rushes? And then just attacking the basics, like my get off, where my eyes are at, at the top of the rush, trying to bend, or, if I'm getting past the level quarterback, working a counter rush back, understanding what coverage is behind me. And then, it's not just me out there too, rushing with all four, like 4 is 1. And a big thing we've been saying is, sacks are cool, but we're trying to destroy the pocket. That's the big thing we're working on, destroying the pocket, assaulting the pocket, and everything, stacks, pressures, hits, that's all going to come.
Can you just imagine an opposing quarterback getting in the pistol, getting under center, and staring across the line at those 4 beasts?
They're physically imposing.
They're going to be chomping at the bit to put him on his rear end. It's the stuff that nightmares are made of. Call it Freddy Krueger's line. Keggy Krueger. We come back, Phoenix Suns. Could they be the next NBA team to be sold? We're going to definitely shift gears here on The Drive. Stay tuned. More to come in hour number 1. We're just getting started on the Sports Animal Audio Network.
At Mercedes-Benz of Eugene, we do things a little bit differently. We're one of the last independently owned automotive dealerships with a young and energetic sales staff, no pressure sales tactics, and you don't have to travel outside of Linn County to get the best deal possible. We have more than 200 new and pre-owned vehicles in stock now, and we invite you to come see for yourself at Mercedes-Benz of Eugene.
As a wife, mother, and grandmother, my sight is precious to me. What a relief when I found out that treatments for some forms of AMD are available and that research is underway on additional preventions and treatments. AMD is the leading cause of vision loss in people 55 and over. When I started seeing blurry spots in the middle of my eye, I saw my doctor. She suggested I review the prevention and treatment information on fightblindness.org. Did you know that some forms of AMD can be slowed down or stopped, and in some cases reversed if found in time? Get more information about preserving your vision. Call the Foundation Fighting Blindness today at 1-800-BLINDNESS for a free packet on reversing or managing AMD. Or go to the website where I found so much helpful information. Fightblindness.org. 1-800-BLINDNESS. 1-800-254-6363 or fightblindness.org.
Battery pop quiz. Did you know that most rechargeable devices use lithium-ion batteries? They're in laptops, power banks, and more. They can, however, be a fire risk. So power up your battery smarts with tips from the National Fire Protection Association. Only buy products with a safety certification mark. Charge devices on hard surfaces. Don't use off-brand cords, and always unplug when fully charged. Let's charge into fire safety. Visit fpw.org/battery for more tips.
1050 AM and 1029 FM and the sportsanimalueugene.com. Broadcasting from the Bigfoot Beverages Studios. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
If you're cooling down in Tule Lake, you got us locked in. AM 960, KLAD in Klamath Falls. On the Umpqua River in Douglas County, 1490 AM, 92.3 FM. The Score. The wide blue of the Pacific Ocean in Newport, 92.7 FM KNCU. And the Rogue Valley. You can go out to Immigrant Lake. Or you can go up into the mountains. You go to Fish Lake, Howard Prairie, Hyatt Lake, Diamond Lake. But, of course, when you come back down to the valley, you can hear us in the Rogue Valley on the ACE Sports Radio 107.9, 1300 AM. My old stomping grounds, the old K-Hug, now KDSO. Thanks for tuning in, friends. I'm Doc, otherwise known as Danny. It's it's not the Christian name my parents gave me. It was Daniel. And Justin Alexander Grossweiner, our own JAGCOR. We call him Baby J. No Mims until next week. So all these new stations that have come on.
Until next week?
Yeah, no, he's not going to be. He's not responding to me. Goose, our third amigo, is not here. So for all those folks that have just tuned in, we do have one more voice that you'll bring in, and believe me, you're going to know, because what we call it is the 6 degrees of separation from Steve Mims, because he knows everybody. Longtime Register Guard reporter, and a really funny guy and a good guy, and he's not our third wheel. He's our third amigo. So he'll be back with us next week. And then I am actually taking a day off, by the way. I put it in the calendar. I don't know if you looked at the calendar or not.
I did not. What day?
Monday the 31st.
Okay, we talked about this already then, yes.
I'm going to fly into town, and I'm going to fly right back out. We are going to go see Noah Khan up in...
Khan?
Not that Khan.
You surprised I even know that reference?
I absolutely am surprised you know that reference.
Of all the references I don't know.
Ricardo Montalban as Khan in the Star Trek movies. That's awesome. We're going to be up in Seattle watching Noah Khan for my wife's birthday and my daughter. It's more for my daughter than my wife and I, but it's her birthday weekend. So we're going to go up there to Seattle and hang out with the brother and sister-in-law.
We'll hold down the fort down here.
I know you will. You'll do it very well for us. All right, so you put the topic out here. Could the Phoenix Suns, and we're up against time, be the next NBA team sold?
1050 AM, 1029 FM, and the sportsanimalueugene.com. Other stations can say they cover the Ducks and Beavers, but we bring the receipts. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Hi, this is Drew from Dalton Carpet on West 11th in Eugene. Dalton Carpet is family owned and operated and proud to serve you for 30 years. Now more than ever, someone you know is walking on a Dalton floor. Do you have a flooring project? Get your summer off to a new start. Lane County's best selection with hundreds of rolls of carpet and thousands of feet of click-together flooring on display and in stock right now at unbeatable prices. Come see us today at Dalton Carpet, right here on West 11th in Eugene.
Men like to get the most out of things. We expect results when we hit the gym, and we expect to finish our weekend to-do list. We also expect ourselves to never slow down, even when some things start to get a little harder. Low testosterone levels might be slowing you down. That's when Oregon Man Clinics step in. Sharpen your focus, regain energy levels, and improve your love life with treatment options tailored to you. Get the most out of being a man. Visit us online at our Springfield, Bend, and Albany locations.
Millions of Americans are glued to their TV weekly, watching a sport they love. Come and relive your childhood at A&J Sports Cards. They have a wide variety of sports cards and memorabilia. Eugene's home for collecting is A&J Sports Cards. Whether you're looking for the stars from the past or the present, you'll find them at A&J Sports Cards. They are here to meet your hobby needs. That's A&J Sports Cards, 1478 West 6th Avenue, 541-343-5561.
Hey drivers, it's Joey Logano, driver to number 22 Discount Tire Ford Mustang Dark Horse in the NASCAR Cup Series. I've got a quick reminder that's essential to keeping you safe on the road. Check your tire pressure. Underinflated tires can fail when you least expect it and cost you more at the pump. Test your tires at least once a month or swing by a local tire retailer for an air check. A little time now can help keep you rolling safely.
A message from the U.S. Tire Manufacturers Association.
Hey Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew. So here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
KORE Springfield, Eugene, 1050 AM. Translated on 275CX 1029 FM. This is the Sports Animal Eugene.
All right, so since we didn't get to it, oops, whoopsie,
live radio.
We got sidetracked. Friends, if you haven't already figured it out, that will happen quite a bit here on this radio program. And the audio network that we call the Sports Animal is here for you. And please jump on in. Would love to hear from you, especially the first time, long times, especially. I want to hear what the weather's like in Klamath Falls and Roseburg and Newport and our dear friends down in the Rogue Valley in Medford and Phoenix and Talent and Eagle Point and White City and the Applegate Valley. Love the Jacksonville. Man, my old stomping grounds, man. Ashland, Scenic Drive. You got to go all the way up Churchill to Scenic Drive. It was a long bike ride straight up a hill. You had to, man, your legs were burning. And then you would go down the other side, Nutley Avenue to Lithia Park in Ashland. Have you ever had the water in Ashland and Lithia Park?
No, I have not. I don't think I've been to Ashland.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man.
I haven't been around the state of Oregon.
You need to travel south, brother.
Know. I do.
Beautiful down there. So if you want to chime on in, please do. Toll free, 877-844-3484. That's the Oregon Man Clinics hotline. 877-844-3484. Put that on the old speed dial so whenever we're on the program, you can hop on in. You also can jump into the chat on the YouTube, the Twitter, and the Twitch. We have a little chat sidebar there. You can put your comments in, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
They can
There's
even
a lot
be
of things to
mean
talk
comments. You can say whatever you want.
Well, you can. I don't know whether or not we
We're
read
not
them
gonna
on the
show it
air.
if it's mean, necessarily.
That's right. So be kind to your fellow man. So I broached the topic and then we went to break. So we're gonna revisit the topic, which is, could the Phoenix Suns be the next NBA team to be sold? Interesting. There's been already, the movement with obviously what happens in Portland, and now with the Buss family, which seems to be a schism. 5 out of the 6 siblings are like fine with it, but Jeannie Buss, who wanted to stay the governor, which is a really weird title for an NBA, like they don't call it the president, it's the governor. of the franchise. She wanted to stay until 2030, and she says there's some clause that says they can't sell it from underneath her or something, but the rest of the family seems so. There seems to be some division on whether or not the Buss family. Gotta wonder what Dad's thinking. Is he rolling around in his grave? Jerry Buss is like, really? Only took you a couple of decades, and you sold it for a pretty penny, by the way. So total, do you know what the total of the franchise then would be? The sale price?
So it was more than the 14.6 that it was.
Well, it was 12.6.
Okay.
For the first part of it, which was the stuff that Mark Walter has said he's going to sell to Bob Iger and Josh Kushner. And for the 17% rest of it, it's also $12.6 billion.
How does that work?
I have no clue how it works, except now they have total control. They would have total control over the franchise. But
so they're
that's
also selling it to the same group.
Yeah.
Of Kushner. And
Iger and Kushner.
Okay.
So it's $25+ billion. $25 billion. That's not digging it up out of the backyard in coffee cans, folks. There some heavy weights going around there. So, but who could be next? Do you think Phoenix could be next?
Well, it sounds like Matt Ishbia might have some sort of issue with money that he borrowed from JP Morgan. And some of this stuff is a little bit of financial mumbo jumbo that I don't understand, but it sounds like basically he borrowed $4 million to complete the purchase. And now
$4 million? Oh,
excuse
sorry.
me.
I was going to say $4 million.
Yes. So he had to put $4.6 billion in his company's stock as collateral, but now that stock is down 70% since the deal's closed, which would make sense that he might have to sell the team, especially if these teams are worth, you just said it was what,
$25.2 billion if you put the two 12.6 together. That's doing Ashland
think
math.
the price of the Suns just went up, if you ask me.
Well, to me, it almost seems like now the Blazers were quite a deal.
That's what I'm thinking too.
At $4.2 billion.
Tom
It's like
Dundon
monopoly
feels pretty good
money.
about that.
Well, and he didn't have to put all of it up. He's got 80% of it. I can't do that math real quick, but it's something like 3.1 billion or something like that.
Billion.
It's
once
monopoly
it gets
money.
over
Listen,
$1 million, it's hard to conceptualize.
And
but $1 billion
honestly,
is way more than that.
And honestly, it's all mostly on paper anyway. It's just paper. Just paper being
It's
transferred.
the idea of money.
Robert Williams III.
Yes.
It's the idea of Robert Williams
Yeah.
III. So I think if that's the scenario that you're laying out, probably then they would be the next ones. But where does it stop then in terms of these guys like Mark Walter, who just literally bought the team, bought the majority share of the team 8
2
months
years ago?
No.
Oh.
It wasn't even a year. Remember, it was
Okay, yeah.
October.
Well, wasn't the Dodgers 2 years ago? And then he
Dodgers
bought
was
the
2 years
Lakers,
ago, and he
yeah.
says he's not selling anything in the Dodgers because if he does, it triggers this thing in Shohei Ohtani's deal where he can opt out immediately. He can leave the
I did
Dodgers.
hear about this, or Friedman, the general manager, as well. He could also opt out if that happens. But I heard that wasn't going to be an issue if he did sell, but it's all speculation, so you don't know.
So, but he bought it in October, and then all of a sudden he's run afoul. Again, his personal life is invading his professional ownership life, and it's just all allegations that there's going to be some indictments coming down because of his company. And again, guess what? It's another financial company. It's another capital firm that's involved in this. And again, a lot on paper. So that's the reason he jettisoned, because he needs cash. He'll need cash to quote unquote defend himself or pay a fine or do whatever he needs to do. But he basically doubled his investment.
Yeah, but that's not the kind of thing that it doesn't really add up, I would say, to do that with the Lakers. I get what you're saying. I know that these things are just about money, but the reason why I think people think that he might be in some legal trouble is because I don't know if it completely makes sense. It doesn't all 100% add up.
No, so but my point is that where is, just like what we've had the discussion about Tom Dundon, is where's the vetting going on for the NBA before they get these guys in? Listen,
is there any?
So there have been jobs that I've applied for. There's like a literal, like, go up your keister background check that goes on. Where is that for something like this? where is that? Is there any sniff of, hey, are they under investigation for anything? Are they, what's their background? What's their history of running a franchise at this level? And a lot of them don't, because they're just people who have money and have amassed fortunes.
And there's only so many of them.
And they want to go play. They want to go play. They want to sit at courtside. They want to rub shoulders with all the superstars and the actresses and actors and the beautiful people in the world. But where is the responsibility to the sport is where now Portland is feeling the pain of that right now because of Tom Dundon. It's one of the few sounders we're going to keep using, folks, so just get used to it. It's
and
not
also
gonna
get
ever
used to the Monster Energy Big 12.
That's right.
Not going away.
It's not going away. So that's where I think, yeah, Phoenix probably could be next on. If the scenario that you're talking about happens, absolutely. Because they're going to grab their golden parachute and somebody else will step in line. So does it make you feel nostalgic for somebody like Jerry Jones, who is just a train wreck in his own mind sometimes?
He cares.
But he does. Oh, the passion is absolutely there. But
I don't know. I'm kind
it borders on the crazy. But you got a lot. I mean, he's never even thought about selling the team. He wants his kids to take over the team.
Or moving the team.
Or moving the team. God forbid they would move Dallas. But they wouldn't be inconceivable.
It's inconceivable.
Inconceivable is what it would be. All right. So when we come back, we'll take our earlier break here because we got a lot to get to. AJ Newberry is on a watch list. And a good one, not on one that you don't want to be on. It's one you want to be on.
That's true.
Mitch Dawn will talk about that in this hour. We'll get to the new OC for Oregon State, also the defensive coordinator, Mike McIntyre. I love both these guys. They're great listens. We're going to have some audio from fall practice from both of them. Whoa, my goodness gracious. Can Seattle recover after getting absolutely annihilated by the Brewers yesterday? When I looked at the score, Justin, I had to look again. I thought maybe did somebody put an extra 2?
It's historic.
22-0. And a light-hitting Brewer squad that just blasted it out of the park against Seattle. We'll talk about that in this hour. Your phone calls on the Oregon Man Clinics hotline, 877-844-3484. Toll free. And then in Eugene, 541-844-3484. It's The Drive.
Don't change the channel. Your radio might explode. Okay, not really. But you miss a minute of The Drive, you might miss something, well, spectacular.
On we go.
The Drive is back.
At Mercedes-Benz of Eugene, we do things a little bit differently. We're one of the last independently owned automotive dealerships with a young and energetic sales staff, no pressure sales tactics, and you don't have to travel outside of Lane County to get the best deal possible. We have more than 200 new and pre-owned vehicles in stock now, and we invite you to come see for yourself at Mercedes-Benz of Eugene.
Any size for just $1.50 at participating convenience stores.
Hi, Brad and my son AJ here with a word of encouragement from Cottage Grove Chevy. In these uncertain economic times, know that Cottage Grove Chevy is here for you today
and tomorrow. Your need for a vehicle isn't going away. We aren't either.
We're proud to serve our customers for over 35 years, and we truly consider it a privilege.
Your support is greatly appreciated.
Cottage Grove Chevy is proud to be part of our community, and we're here for you. Thank you.
The plans you have for your property need the right equipment. Kubota has reliable tractors, utility vehicles, and mowers to help you make the most of your land, along with strong dealer support. Stop by today to explore our lineup. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0% financing or save up to $3,500, plus a first-year K-maintenance service on us. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com/disclaimers for full disclaimer.
Mid-Valley Tractor in Eugene. 40 years, family-owned. Find them at midvalleytractor.com.
A college security officer called to tell me there was a drinking party on campus. The officer said there had been excessive drinking and our son was in the hospital for alcohol poisoning. He said my husband and I should come as soon as we could. I knew my son would face distractions and temptations when he went away to school. He already had unfortunate experiences with alcohol, and he was a little too good at fitting in with the crowd. I had no idea things could get so much worse so fast. A nurse suggested we attend Al Anon family groups, even though our son claimed his drinking was no big deal. He said he was not an alcoholic and that he could quit whenever he wanted. I didn't want to go to an Al Anon meeting, but I'm sure glad I went. If someone's drinking troubling you, you might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al Anon family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone or just taking a deep, calming breath to ground yourself. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org.
Sometimes they're right.
Rest my case.
Sometimes they're wrong.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
But no ears were harmed in the making of their disagreements.
I don't know what we're yelling about.
You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
The Power Hour coming up at 5 o'clock. George Reister is going to kick us off at the top of the hour. And then our good friend Zach Neal, call him Cadillac Zach, from Ducks Wire, also Believe in Oregon podcast, Ducks Rising, USA Today. He's fantastic. Got Oregon covered for you. A lot of Oregon State this hour, though, as we roll on here for a Wednesday afternoon on The Drive. Thanks for hanging out with us on the 4 o'clock hour. It is a nice toasty 80 degrees, 82 degrees right now in Eugene. Real nice outside. A little breeze.
Wouldn't know.
Oh. You went outside today. I saw you.
I did.
Okay, so stop with
You're right.
that.
We
It's not
passed
like
each other driving in.
listen. It's not like I lock you to your
I'm just
desk
kidding.
and it's no, but you said it though. Not
just
that I
saying.
know. Like I wasn't outside today.
I wouldn't really know, but I'm just kidding.
You can come and go as you please. No
Well,
one's
I don't know if
you don't
that's
have a time.
true.
You don't have a time. Well, like not right now. But before this, you can.
All right.
Man, the impression you give people is it's like, I've got you chained to a desk when you come in and you can't leave all day long. It's not
true.
accurate.
You're pretty good about letting me come and go.
Yeah. We're going to fix that pretty soon.
I'm pretty good about it, though.
Yes, you are. The Bigfoot Beverages Studio is where we broadcast from here in the Emerald City, Eugene, and throughout the state. Thank you. We're going to add on some more affiliates as well. It's been so gratifying to hear from some of the folks in the communities that we're in now in Roseburg and Newport. We've been in Newport for a long time, and then adding in Medford. And thanks a lot to Joe Brett again and Pete Belcastro from Table Rock Sports and the Ace Sports Radio, 107.9, 1300 AM. Then, of course, our good friend Josh Eldridge down in Klamath Falls. Love the Basin. Klamath Falls, home of OIT, Oregon Tech, NAIA School Perennial Power in basketball. Great baseball program as well, track and field. NAIA, we're going to talk a lot of NAIA as we head into the wintertime, as we get into basketball season especially, and some more programs that are going to be adding on. Of course, we've got Bushnell here locally. We'll talk a lot of Corbin up in the area, and obviously Southern Oregon University, near and dear to my heart, in Ashland. A lot of things to talk about. We'll have all of that, and we're going to be following the Southern Oregon football program pretty closely. So we'll see how they, try and get themselves through. I think it's the Frontier Conference still. I gotta bone up on NAIA football. No, it's competitive, man. Absolutely competitive. I go all the way back to Chuck Mills. Chuck Mills, when he was the AD and football coach, Chuck Mills had this gravelly voice, man, and he was an old guy football coach. He came from Wake Forest, and it was like, why is this? I mean, this guy was like a legend in college football, smaller college football, before we had NIL and transfer portal and everything else. And he would be chomping on a cigar almost the entire day. And he had smoked so many cigars. He had just this low, growly voice. And you could hear Chuck from down the hallway at what is now the Bob Ream, I believe, Athletic Center building on the Southern Oregon campus. Great wrestling program there at Southern Oregon as well, Ashland. Yeah, Brett Lofstedt and Doug Samra. I'm going to throw a bunch of names out there that I know. and friends of mine. So welcome to the program. And let's get into some audio from Oregon State. So this is going to be a year that we've talked a lot about the over-unders, right? 4.5 or so. That's what Vegas said. I think there's a consensus, but not a unanimous voice of consent that there's going to be the over on 4.5. Goose and I've got him at 5. Goose has got him at 6, and you're under.
I'm like at 4. I'm like
it's
at
fine.
4, which I'm just a bit under what the line is, I guess.
So I'm going to allow you on the air right now to say that you can change what you think after watching them for the first 3 weeks. Okay. After the first 3 weeks, no. So I'm just saying, no, I will allow it after the first 3 weeks.
It's almost hard to know after 3 weeks because of their schedule.
No, I think, but if you see some fight, listen, that is going to be the toughest part of their schedule. Absolutely. So if they come out of it without serious injury, if they show some fight in a couple of games, not get blown out 69-0, and it's just a disaster on special teams and they're in disarray and you can see dissension on the sideline and you get all those signals, it's like, all right, this coaching staff is already losing this team. I really don't think that's going to happen. I cannot imagine a scenario where that's going to happen.
I'm with you. I guess my thought process is, and I like everything that I've heard from Jamarcus Shepard, from new head offensive coordinator Mitch Dolan that we're about to hear from. I like these new coaches. I just wonder how long it's going to take to really implement their vision, right? Like, I think they're going to have a lot of competitive games.
They got to have their players. It's a total rebuild.
I'm with you. So that's why I'm under.
Okay, but that's what. But I'm also saying that if you see something, so
that
you need to
change. I mean, of course,
I'll give you that option after 3 weeks, and then you say no, I'm sticking with it.
All right,
that's it.
We'll
3 weeks.
Check back in.
Because I know Mims is going to want to know after 3 weeks. Goose he's already said. He said he's 6, but if it goes bad in the first 3 weeks and they get blown out,
4 wins for him. He said he would take off.
Yeah. So I think for the group, I don't think I'm going to move off of my number.
What's your
5? I said 5. Which is
so funny how you're giving me all these options and I'm just 1 win less than you.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the difference between them actually having a chance to get into a bowl game and not. You can't get into a bowl game at 4. You can if there's not enough teams that are eligible to get in with 5 wins.
Or they decline.
I don't think Jamarcus Shepard would decline. He would want another couple of weeks. Other teams. That's what I'm saying. Then you have the opportunity. You put yourself into the narrative.
He would love to get into a bowl game.
Yeah,
That'd be
anything.
If they get into a bowl game, it's mission accomplished this season. 100%.
All right. So let's hear from the coach, Mitch Dolan, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, new everything. It's new. So Mitch Dolan, except for some
one
of the
guy.
players. Right. So how does he feel? So I'm you got to help me in with this.
Does he feel like they're 3 practices away from figuring out who?
So the quarterback competition that we have up in Corvallis.
Yeah, we're getting closer. I mean, it still goes back to decision making and again, just operating the offense and understanding like it's not a basic offense by any means. We're going to be multiple. We're going to put a lot on that guy just to make decisions and get us in the right looks on runs and throws and stuff. So getting closer. We're getting closer for sure.
That again,
I hope they are.
It does not sound like I'm just going to say it. I have concerns about Malik Murphy that he's not going to be the guy, and if he's not, he's going to be crushed. He's going to just be crushed.
Can it be worse? I don't know. I think it was already really bad.
It was
Malik
bad,
Murphy's
but the
PR.
but the thing being is that you have a chance now because you stayed. Now I don't know where you would have gone, but you stayed. And the coaching staff wants you there, obviously, because if they didn't, because they let some players go. They said, listen, you're not going to fit into what we want to do. So they obviously saw something or felt something with Malik Murphy. But if he doesn't earn, and that's going to be the key word to me, because I believe this coaching staff will, just like at Oregon, they'll make a player earn their spot. They're not just going to anoint somebody just because you're getting paid X amount of dollars in the NIL, right? Baby J, you can't do that. If you do that, you're doing it the wrong way. You still have to earn it on the field.
You do, but I do think the money behind that, like, can they afford to let Malik Murphy just go? I mean,
no, I didn't say let him go. I just said he's going to be I would be concerned about his emotional state if he's not named the game one starter, or at least gets, like, if they say, you know what, you're going to play first half, you're going to play second half, or you're going to play first half, and if it goes really bad, we're going to put somebody else in, which would be even worse, though, if you got benched.
But I wouldn't want to tell my quarterback that.
I
want to
wouldn't
put that
either,
extra pressure on
But
him.
listen, he's not getting, and I don't know why we're just focusing on Malik Murphy, because there's 3 other guys in that room, and 2 of them are really pushing.
Well, it's because they're unknown.
Well, but Mitch Dahlin's unknown.
That's true.
We don't know what his offense
So is
is going to
Jamarcus
look
Shepard.
like. Right. So we have no
We
idea
have
what
no
this is going
idea.
to look like. So, I mean, there are some pieces that are coming back, but we don't know what it's going to look like. Absolutely not.
It sounds like they're the opposite of me, where I'm sitting here hoping that Malik Murphy wins the job and earns to win the job, not just wins it by default. It sounds like to them that they're hoping that somebody else can come in here and take the job. And it doesn't sound like it's Malik Murphy, like you're saying, based on the way that we're reading between the lines and everything we've gotten. It sounds like it's going to be one of these other guys. So
let's talk about the running back.
Let's do it.
AJ Newberry. He's on.
Seems like he's really good.
Doak Walker watch list now, and a transfer kid that was playing at Vanderbilt came here. Not you take a look at his numbers. It's not going to blow you off the page or anything else, but this is again another piece that in the right program might fit. And Jamarcus Shepard feels like, and so does Mitch Dahlin.
Yeah, he's just different. So he's about the most unique skill set guy we've had at that position in a while. Like we had Ronnie Rivers at Fresno and Jordan Mims and Dylan Johnson and all these guys, and even at Bama we had a bunch of different guys. But he's just a true weapon. Like he's a home run hitter. So we can get him the ball in empty, we can get him the ball in the backfield, and he just finds ways to make people miss. So it's fun for me being the Dosey. I can just drop some plays and get him in space and see what he can do because he is beyond talented.
Do you think Mitch Dahlin is going to be one of those guys as an OC that's going to be like the mad scientist sitting in a room and looking at his pieces and going, you know, man, I could move this guy here. I could do something crazy. I can put, like a stack on one side and 2 on another side, also in a stack, and kind of really trick the defense up a bit?
100%.
Doesn't he seem like that kind of guy?
100%, especially with all the analytics stuff. They're going to want to go by the numbers and try to do different formations. The thing that I'm thinking about, and it's not that AJ Newberry is an unknown here, but when Jamarcus Shepard took over this team, I think our first thought was, oh, they want to pass now. He's a wide receivers coach.
Yeah, he's going to throw the ball all over the place.
They've got some pretty good running backs.
Yeah, but Oregon State traditionally has had really good running backs.
What I'm saying is I think we have to think about this offense not just as a pass first offense necessarily. I could still see them being either a run first offense with Cornell Hatcher and AJ Newberry being that 1-2 punch. But I could, and you hope you see sort of like what Oregon does, where it's 250. That's the goal. You get 250 rushing, 250 passing.
Yeah.
And you have the ability to do both.
And you got to make the defense try and pick one to try and stop you, and you can't stop either. So you pick your poison. I'm gonna take what the defense gives me, but I'm also going to force the action. And that's what I want to see out of Mitch Dahlin the first couple of weeks as well, against some pretty good defenses in Willie Fritz down there in Houston, and then Joey McGuire at Texas Tech and Lubbock. But, of course, Texas Tech's got to come up to Reser Stadium. You're listening to The Drive. This is the Sports Animal Audio Network, the Oregon Man Clinics hotline. We are wide open for phone calls for this hour. We're going to close off the phones for a lot of the next hour because we're going to have George Reister and Zach Neal here on the program. 541-844-3484 in Eugene. Toll free 877-844-3484. Live from the Bigfoot Beverages Studios. One more from Mitch Dahlin. And let's get back to the quarterback room. So what's interesting with offensive coordinators as well, especially if you have some senior leadership or players that are a little bit more seasoned, it's like, okay, you can ad lib or you can check off of a play if you see something. And so there are coaches that are like, you do not come off script. If I send you the play in, you better run that play right now. Otherwise, if it's not a touchdown, you're going to hear it when you head to the sideline. So how much freedom is Mitch Dahlin going to give his quarterbacks?
Yeah, it kind of depends. Like we have a bunch of different operational things. So it'll kind of depend, like if it's a man zone or where we're trying to run a certain run play. So there's a bunch of different things we do there. But it kind of just depends in the course of a game and also what the starter is good at. Like a lot of times it's, does that guy want more on his plate or does he not? Because we have ways for me to do it as well. So it kind of depends on the guy.
Again, maybe reading between the lines a little bit too much, but that doesn't sound like you're talking necessarily about a guy like Malik Murphy, who has been around. And I don't know if it's the same exact offense or anything like that, but is it as a more experienced guy? So I think it makes sense. It kind of goes along with what you're saying as well as maybe being a mad scientist guy. Like, how much do you want that? If you're that type of guy, you're trying to mix and match. And do do these different formations and all this stuff. Do you want your quarterback to have the ability to check out of stuff, or do you want to have your system and be able to have a kind of script of doing things like you're saying? You want to run first, and then if it's a first or if it's a second and short, you do this, or if it's a second and long, you do this. Like I think it's interesting, and it probably depends on how much they trust the guy that's under center or behind the center, I guess.
So what's interesting, so this goes all the way back to, and I'm going to date myself, but you're going to appreciate this. Mike Holmgren, who led the Green Bay Packers to a world championship, was one of the first ones, and he took it from Bill Walsh as well. Script the first 15 plays. We know what we're going to do. We're going to stick to that plan. It doesn't matter. We're going to run those 15 plays. Everybody knows what plays we're going to run. We're not checking out of anything. We are just going to run those because that's going to set us up for the rest of the game to know what we can and can't do. I can see Mitch Dolan doing something along those lines. It's like, you know what? I'm going to have my set plays. It might be 10 plays, whatever it is. He might
2 series or whatever.
Right. Pull the script down just a little bit. But it's about where you can trust your players as well. And I think they're going to find the right quarterback. So, you know, we had the discussion about Malik Murphy and stuff. I think they will find the guy that's going to be like, you know what? Yep, that's our guy. And we're going to be good with that. We're going to ride him. They have to start picking some players out of this. They have to, though, because
I'm with you ideally, but it doesn't seem like at this point, if you don't have a guy that you can sit there and go, this is our guy, and he's going to have 3 weeks to be our guy, then I hope you're right. But couldn't you see a scenario where they have one guy start one game and then it doesn't work out and they start another guy another game?
But then what signal is that sending? The indecisiveness is what signal is that sending the team?
I'm not saying that it's sending a good signal. I'm saying that based on what I'm seeing and hearing right now, that kind of seems like it's where it's at. There isn't a guy that has a secure lock on the job at all.
But it's like what we're seeing and hearing, which is very little. It's just like Oregon. They're not opening. We heard from the judge John Warren the other day. They're not like letting everybody sit and watch every single practice from nose to tail. They are squeezing it down. They're being very secretive. They won't release 2 deeps. Oregon State won't. So how are we supposed to know? It's supposition and interjection. It is not fact. The fact will be is when they have that first 2 deep that's published for that first game, then we are going to know. And I think we're not going to know until that point. So it's conjecture at this point for us.
Or speaking of the word or, what they're going to do is they're going to have 2 quarterbacks, and it's going to be Malik Murphy or Brady Jones or whatever.
Or whatever, fill in the blank. All right, when we come back, let's head to the defensive side of the football for Oregon State here on The Drive. Not Mac. I wanted to say Mac McIntyre. It's Mike McIntyre. I love the old ball coach, man. He's a favorite of mine, and you're going to love listening to him. He's still looking for some answers. How much is Kai Wheaton going to play? Yeah, the legacy from Oregon. Kenny Wheaton's going to score. Kai Wheaton might score. We'll talk about that when we return here on the Sports Animal Audio Network.
Nothing is too big for the sports animal to handle.
At Mercedes-Benz of Eugene, we do things a little bit differently. We're one of the last independently owned automotive dealerships with a young and energetic sales staff, no pressure sales tactics, and you don't have to travel outside of Lane County to get the best deal possible. We have more than 200 new and pre-owned vehicles in stock now, and we invite you to come see for yourself at Mercedes-Benz of Eugene.
You could eat wings for $27.95 and dollar beers from Cold Fire Cold Store. That would really make things better. Ooh, and the sauces. The sauces are to die for. In fact, now I'm kind of hungry. Oh, man. Now I need to go to Chicken Bones.
Make no bones about it. Chicken Bones has the best wings in Lane County. All you can eat wings, great sauces, and awesome burgers. Open daily at 11 a.m. on Pioneer Parkway in the Safeway Center. Check us out on Facebook or call 541-726-0111. That's 541-726-0111. Chicken Bones, chicken with an attitude.
At Sun Automotive, we are changing the image of the automotive industry. Our country depends upon cars and trucks, and our automotive technicians are the essential workers that keep families safe and businesses moving. At Sun Automotive, being an automotive technician isn't a plan B. It's a future and an important career that challenges you to grow and gives you the satisfaction of keeping people safe and on the road. For the best service under the sun, come to Sun Automotive.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it'll take years to get out of debt. Call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 10 million people without destroying your credit. They can reduce your interest rates, lower your total payments up to 50% to get you out of debt fast. For a free consultation, call Consolidated Credit now. The program works.
Call 800-499-4107. 800-499-4107. 800-499-4107.
Consolidated Credit Solutions Incorporated, 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33313. Licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Kansas CSO 0019051. Maryland DM 1492. Oregon DM 892. Licensed by the Virginia State Corporation Commission, license number TC83. Service may adversely affect the individual's credit. Non-payment of debts may lead to additional finance charges or collections activity, including legal action. Actual interest rates, length of program, and monthly payment reductions will vary by consumer and creditor. Yours could be higher or lower. Not a loan company. We do not lend money.
Having a place to go after school will make you a better student. Having an outlet to express yourself will make you a better artist. Having something to do together will make you a better family. At the Y, we're helping build better friends, listeners, writers, swimmers, scientists, and musicians, one chance at a time. Give the gift of opportunity. Support the Y at ymca.net. The Y, for a better us.
1050 AM and 1029 FM and the sportsanimalueugene.com. Broadcasting from the Bigfoot Beverages Studios. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
The Drive on the Sports Animal Audio Network. Thanks for lending us your ears, friends and Romans and countrymen and Southern Oregonians and Central Oregonians and up here in the Willamette Valley. I guess that's where we're at. Yeah, we are. We're based out of Eugene, but we cover the state for you here on the Sports Animal Audio Network. And this is The Drive. Tomorrow on the program, Angie Machado is going to join us. I know we got that locked in. We're still making the call out to our dear friend who we hope is going to answer the bell, Javon. Javon Edmonds from the Syracuse Post-Standard, who ranked Oregon 10th in the 2026 AP preseason poll. You can follow Javon. You can follow Javon at Javon Edmonds 45. Wouldn't that be hilarious if we had some people follow him?
We should check his follower count.
We should but we also should check his, DMs or tweets and stuff and see.
Okay, there's 2,583
followers.
followers.
That's very respectable.
So we'll see comparatively.
Okay.
Oh, they're literally where two people just followed him. I swear. Just now, two people.
Tell Javon he needs to come on the Drive. We're gonna be nice. We just want him to explain his thought process. And listen, if he doesn't, we are literally going to have a segment every single week where we're going to follow who Javon is ranking on the program because that's good content. Coming up next hour, we'll be talking to our dear friend George Reister, the minister. He is the host of the Unafraid Show. He's also doing Talking Ducks. It's a podcast with Oregon Live reporter Aaron Fentress covering the Ducks.
1050 AM, 1029 FM.
Okay, what was that all about?
Ignore that.
Okay, well, that's kind of a little distracting. And George Reister also has a bigger role with CW. He's going to be working with them on some Pac-12 coverage, and then he just signed a deal with On3. So George, former Oregon Duck tight end, he was drafted, played in the NFL, I think, for 9 years or 11 years, something like that. I'm not going to cut him short. I'm going to get his bio back. I haven't committed it totally to memory. But what we're going to talk about with George is, first of all, did he get his car back? Because it was towed in Hawaii when he was there for a volleyball tournament, and they had all the gear in the car. And when he was scheduled to be on with us last week, he had to say by.
I'm telling you, it was the funniest thing calling him and talking to him, and I just was like, I knew
Was
immediately.
he chasing the car
He-
down
it
the
was
road?
like one of those, like, I'm really sorry. It's like, I'm just dealing with this thing, and I'm just like, dude, do whatever you need to do. We're good. Like, don't worry about it.
Now, it wouldn't have been fun, but it would have been funny to see if he was like waving his phone, chasing the tow truck down the road. That would have been great radio if we would have been able to get it. But we'll talk to the minister because I do want to talk to him about, obviously we want to talk about the Ducks a little bit, but I do want to talk more about the NFL exhibition, the preseason, because from a player's perspective, I want to hear from him. Because, and especially when he got older, like he was like a 6-year, 7-year vet. It's like, you know what? Do you really want to go through all that training camp? You want to play those games and everything else like that? Especially you're in Jacksonville, man. You're in Jacksonville. It is just sweaty, sticky, humid, blech, big bugs. You've said there's like flying,
Cockroaches, yeah.
I was going to say gophers, but flying, there were large animals flying around in Jacksonville that you would want to be.
Snakes. I'm telling you, it's
not a huge fan.
It's
of
a little bit like mini Australia.
Okay. Well, okay, great. Well, we can have a little biology or how would that be? What are we talking about? Botany lesson or whatever?
Botany, I believe, is
plants. So whatever. We can find out about all the animals that Justin
Zoology?
knows about. Zoology, yes. So biopic. I learned that word yesterday. Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Brad.
Zach Neal is going to join us as well. We call him Cadillac Ducks Wire. We are going to talk a lot more Ducks with Zach Neal in the next hour as well. So stay tuned. The Oregon Man Clinics hotline open for you. Toll free 877-844-3484. Jump on in the pool, man. We've got a lot we've been talking about. You want to take us a different direction? You got a favorite baseball team? You want to talk about your the best pizza you ever had in your life? We will take all callers. 541-844-3484 up here in the Valley on the Sports Animal, the flagship station. Let's get back to some Oregon State audio. Mike McIntyre, the old Salt man, he is a good old ball coach, defensive coordinator, and what a great hire from Jamarcus Shepard. It wasn't his first pick, but it's the best pick for them this year. We certainly hope so. So Mike McIntyre, again, it's a blank slate. I talked about it before with Oregon State. So what is he still looking for? What is he trying to find? Where are the diamonds? And trying to form this defense in this first year as DC.
We're still our scheme. We know what we want. I need to see them be able to adjust to the formations quicker and better. They're there, but they might be inside instead of outside leverage, things like that. Linebackers might be still being in the B gap, might be slightly in the A gap with different when it's playing fast or shifts in motions. So I feel like they have a really good knowledge of what we're doing, because the reason I say that is they're asking great questions. It's not just like I'm talking and it's numb. It's not, I'm talking and then they make, what about this? What about that? What about that? So it shows me they're kind of going to the next level. And so just seeing that Saturday, and then keep improving on our tackling and our leverage. That's all part of it. Knowing who's outside, who's inside, not to overrun a runner, worrying about running the sidelines. So looking for those details to get better. But I think the overall knowledge is very good. Now carrying it out play after play and being more exact is what I'm looking for.
I like that. I like that thirst for knowledge and asking the right questions. That's the basis. That's the foundation you need to have.
Well, it's easy to forget because it's been a while now that I don't want to say this team quit on.
No, they did. No, I'll say it.
I don't want to say
have
that, but
you don't have to say it. I'll say it. They did quit. They
doesn't
did
sound
quit.
like this team is there right now. No. It sounds like this team is eager.
Well, they haven't played a game yet, though.
100%. And I was just thinking about this. First 3 games, if they go 0-3, pressure is not on them. That is the expectation, I would say, is for them to go 0-3. Maybe they're going to win that 3rd game. But you get what I'm saying. They have a period of time where I think they can just build, and the pressure is not on them. Now, if they go 0-6, I think, yeah, the pressure is going to be on them. But I think they're going to have some grace, and that might be helpful for this team.
We're talking Oregon State football here on The Drive. Thanks for hanging out with us here on a Wednesday afternoon. As we head to the 5 o'clock hour, it'll be George Reister and Zach Neal, a couple of guests as we wind up the power hour here on The Drive and the Sports Animal Audio Network, live in Klamath Falls, in Roseburg, in Newport, and in Medford. Jaheim Patterson is going to be a key piece, big kid, 6'4", senior, Fort Worth, Texas. Went to Everman, has been at Oregon State for a couple of years now after coming from Kilgore College. And he's been talked about as a very important piece, but now coming off with getting his eligibility. So how much, Coach? How much is Patterson going to play?
Jaheim, of course, will play for us. He's played the most football of anybody we have back there. And he's looked good out there. We've been limited with him to make sure we don't get a growing pull or hamstring, getting back and getting in complete football shape. He came in shape, but we've been practicing running and cutting. And so every day he's in a little more. I've been impressed with him in the meeting room. He's able to, if I say something's blue and he goes, oh, we called that this before. He can kind of correlate it. And that's the way it used to be in the NFL when you bring a guy in. So he's been good at that. So he will definitely be playing for us in the rotation, and just seeing how good a shape he gets in before we get going.
So it seems like there's enough time from when he's coming back to where they can bring him in and they can implement him. Maybe he won't be at 100% of the snaps that he would like to be at in week 1, but you think by week 3 or 4 that he's going to be in the rhythm of what they need in terms of what they can ask him to do. So I think that it sounds like he's in good shape. We'll hear a little bit more about Van Wells, I'm sure, at some point soon, but not 100% sure what's going on with have they gotten completely cleared for eligibility? I think it sounds like they're pretty confident, but I'm not sure if we've gotten a 100% yes.
No, we haven't gotten a 100% yes, but what they're doing now is they feel confident enough that now they're out there. So I think they've gotten enough clearance that they
must have.
And I don't see anything that's going to step it back.
Well, we heard from Jamarcus Shepard the other day, and he was asked about, I think it was Jamarcus Shepard, being asked about, hey, how do you use these reps not knowing exactly what's going to happen? And it sounded like he was pretty confident saying, we want to get them reps because we're pretty confident they're going to play.
Yeah, sounds like it. All right, so let's move to Kai Wheaton. He's a DB, another DB, 5'11" freshman out of Allen, Texas. Of course, Oregon doesn't need to know anything about the Wheaton family. Kenny Wheaton, one of the most famous plays in Oregon history. He's got a sister, Kendall. Of course, Kenny, and they relocated to Dallas, and that's where he's from because Kenny Wheaton played most of his NFL career in Dallas. And his cousin Marcus also played for Oregon State from 2009 to 2012. So there's a family tie to Oregon State besides just his dad. And Kai Wheaton is one of those kids, man, he could be sneaky good as a freshman. Texas football, if you've never experienced Texas football on a Friday night, holy smokes, man. The places they build, the palaces they have for their high schools down there, they take it serious, man. So you get a kid out of Allen, Texas, he's pretty good if he's going to be recruited in the D1 level. So Kai Wheaton is. So let's talk about it with Mike McIntyre on Kai Wheaton.
Yeah. What's your impression of what are you seeing as well?
Yeah, Kai Wheaton's a really good football player. What I like about Kai, with the young guy, the beginning of spring and then in the spring game, he played really well. He doesn't, my old word is he doesn't blink. It doesn't phase him. He might get beat on something. He comes back and just plays. He'll come off and hit somebody, make a tackle. He misses a tackle, he'll get up and make another tackle. He does not blink. He comes from a great program in Allen, Texas. Football is extremely important. He's played in front of big crowds, big games. He has a family heritage in football. So I really like his mental toughness, and he's big, long corner. Of course, he's young. He's still learning on all the different things, but he's played a lot of football. Every year they played 16 games, I think, every single year. And their weight program and all the stuff they have there is amazing. So I'm excited about what Kai can do.
Oh, what can Kai do?
He's going
to get opportunities. That to me, that's going to be the if there's one word I probably could use for this Oregon State team this year, it's going to be opportunity. Again, when you have a blank slate that you're trying to fill, then there are going to be players that are going to have that. There's not a whole bunch of entrenches like, all right, we're going to pencil that guy in here. We're going to pen him here. It is like it's wide open. It's wide open tryouts. It's wide open position building and new coaches. There's no you know what? I like a holdover coach. It's like, well, I like this guy a lot, so I have a tendency to kind of look past some of their flaws, and I still like this guy because I'm with him. None of that. So all of these guys are new, and so that's where the opportunity comes in. So yeah, a freshman could see the field. a lot for Oregon
I think
State.
I think it's kind of an exciting opportunity. If you have a little bit of hope, if you're negative about it, you'll go, well, you don't know you're rebuilding from everything. But I think if you take it from the positive spin, you can go, well, you're building what you want. You're implementing what you want. You're getting what you want. So I think that it can be a form of excitement as well to build like this.
All right, so we dissected yet again Oregon State. No, the first thing that comes to my mind when I start thinking about dissection is frogs.
Didn't have to do that.
You
at
didn't?
school.
You
No.
didn't?
No.
Oh, I
think
did
they did
not.
away
I
with
did not
that.
like it. Just the smell.
You had to do it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Dissection of the frogs. So did my daughter. She didn't like it either.
She had to do it too.
Oh yeah, this past year.
Really? I just
Yeah.
skipped a generation, I guess.
It did apparently. The Brewers a 22-0 victory over Seattle.
And did you see
No, we got
the play by the center fielder, Julio Rodriguez?
Yes, and he tossed it in the sands.
Yes.
Yeah, and he didn't know there was only 2 outs, and it
Very
brought
correct.
another run in, but
Brought
it
another
didn't
3
matter.
runs in.
3 runs in. Is that the most embarrassing regular season loss? What's the most embarrassing loss you've ever witnessed? That could be a good topic for us. We'll do it next here on The Drive. Toll free, 877-844-3484. In Eugene, 5413-844-3484. That's the Oregon Man Links hotline. Stay tuned here on the Sports Animal Audio Network.
1050 AM, 1029 FM, and the SportsAnimalEugene.com. Other stations can say they cover the Ducks and Beavers.
At Mercedes-Benz of Eugene, we do things a little bit differently. We're one of the last independently owned automotive dealerships with a young and energetic sales staff, no pressure sales tactics, and you don't have to travel outside of Lane County to get the best deal possible. We have more than 200 new and pre-owned vehicles in stock now, and we invite you to come see for yourself at Mercedes-Benz of Eugene.
Before you buy that new TV, drop into video only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Oregon, land of forest green, mountains snowy white, land of nature lovers' dream, beauty to match delight, where sunlit paths wind their way around mountain, lake, and stream. Be careful never to start a wildfire. Please, keep Oregon green.
While serving in Afghanistan, I was shot in the head by sniper fire. The fighting was so intense, the medevac chopper was barely able to land. I was given a 5% chance to live. I'm Adam Alexander, and I'm a veteran. Today, I visit classrooms and talk with kids about dealing with life's struggles. I tell them, with a little help and a lot of work, that you can overcome any challenge.
DAV helps veterans like Adam get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
I know that some struggles are big and some are small, but they're all struggles, and you have to learn to get through them. With support from DAV, more veterans like me can live their best life. And as a new father, I have one more reason to keep on keeping on. My victory is being there for the next generation.
Adam Alexander, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Every year, millions of pets go missing, leaving families heartbroken. If you lose or find a pet, Love Lost is here to help. Our free, easy-to-use database uses photo matching technology across multiple social media platforms to bring lost pets home. Just upload a photo and quickly search the largest national lost and found pet database. Let's unite to reunite, because every lost pet deserves to find their way home. Register today at lovelost.org.
I'm Ohio Sheriff Christopher J. Hilton. Criminal networks are stealing billions of dollars through social media, phone calls, and text, posing as people you trust. They pressure and demand money or personal information. Don't fall for it. If something feels wrong, slow down and verify. Hang up. Don't click and never send money. If targeted, contact law enforcement. Protect yourself and protect your family.
Learn more at sheriffs.org/stopscams. A public service message from the National Sheriff's Association.
Don't change the channel. Your radio might explode. Okay, not real, but you miss a minute of the drive, you might miss something, well, spectacular.
On we go.
The Drive is back on 102.9 FM and 1050 AM. The Sports Animal.
Love me a little Sister Sledge. Willie Stargell, Dave Parker, the old Pittsburgh Pirates. We are family.
Haven't been good since then.
Yep. Coming up in hour number 3. We call it the Power Hour here on the Sports Animal Audio Network and The Drive. Thanks. I'm Danny. That's Justin. Mims, our third amigo, is out until Monday. He'll be back. You'll get introduced to him for all you folks down in Medford and in Roseburg and in Klamath Falls. We were on Klamath Falls when Mims was here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, we were. But not in Roseburg or Medford. So you'll have a new voice on the program as well with us here on The Drive.
If they don't know him already.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll be shocked if there's not like, hey, I met Steve at it's like you can't take him anywhere. So next hour we'll have George Reister right at the top of the hour, Zach Neal as well at the bottom of the hour, and the Oregon Man Clinics hotline open for you for a couple more minutes here, toll free 877-844-3484 in Eugene, 541-844-3484, live from the Bigfoot Beverages studios. The Brewers pounded Seattle. And you asked the question, Baby J, to me, is this the most embarrassing regular season loss in MLB history? I would say it's tied because it tied the worst loss ever. It did set a record for how many home runs were hit, and the Brewers have not been a team that's hit the ball out of the park very much this year, but man, they were on fire, and it was just like a virus that sped through the dugout. So a 22-0 victory, and Seattle just fell apart. And I don't know how they're going to recover from this because they were scuffling before. So what does this mean for them as they try and, because they're still in a wild card chase. But man, you get, there's a, you get beat sometimes, and it feels like, yeah, we just had an off day. But it doesn't seem like Seattle is finding the right levers to push or the buttons to push to get themselves back where they were in the middle of the season. Yes or no?
No. I mean, it all starts with Cal Raleigh, and he's been terrible this season. There's no other way to put it. I mean, it's sad but true. It's one of the most disappointing things that you've seen this season, by the way. Seattle is starting off pretty well today. They're up 2-0 on the Brewers on the road. Bases loaded, 2 out, so still an opportunity for more. So they're fighting back. But yesterday was pretty ugly, you have to say. It was the worst loss of a shutout of any team since 1888, Danny. So we haven't seen a shutout loss like that
but
since
it wasn't worse.
The 1800s. Not only that, some of those runs at the end, you mentioned the ball that was thrown by Julio Rodriguez into the stands. I mean, you want to talk about insult to injury. That is just one of the worst mental errors I've ever seen. And if you're a coach,
but it's happened before,
you're a
though.
coach, and you see that, and you see your guy, and
that's
it's
when
the
you know
8th inning, and he's totally checked out.
Absolutely,
100% checked out.
The first thing I said, it was just like they've checked out of the game.
That is the
you lose
exact
track of the
opposite of what
outs?
you want to see. Take him out of the game then. If it's 20-0 already, basically, then just remove him. Like, he obviously doesn't want to play. Don't get him injured.
George Reister coming up, Zach Neal coming up next hour. By the way, if you're on the YouTube, read it. I'll talk about it next hour. Back on The Drive.
Sometimes they're right.
Rest my case.
Sometimes they're wrong.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
But no ears were harmed in the making of their disagreements.
I don't know what we're yelling about.
You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Men like to get the most out of things. We expect results when we hit them.
At Mercedes-Benz of Eugene, we do things a little bit differently. We're one of the last independently owned automotive dealerships with a young and energetic sales staff, no pressure sales tactics, and you don't have to travel outside of Lane County to get the best deal possible. We have more than 200 new and pre-owned vehicles in stock now, and we invite you to come see for yourself at Mercedes-Benz of Eugene.
Replace a windshield? The camera needs recalibrated? If your glass provider doesn't fix the camera, you could have issues with safety features like forward collision alert, adaptive cruise control, or emergency braking. Don't trust some guy in a truck to fix or replace your windshield and then have to make a second appointment to calibrate your camera. You need Olson's Auto Glass, 2041 West 7th Avenue in Eugene. Olson's Auto Glass, repairing windshields since 1938.
Hey, there he is. How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand or what? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke. Are you okay? I'm having a stroke. Your face looks weird too. I'm having a stroke. Are you having a seizure or something? I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear.
I'm having a stroke.
You just need to know the sudden signs. Look for FAST, F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. Or S, speech difficulty. Then T, time. Time to call 911 immediately, because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Know the sudden signs. Face, arm, speech, time. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. You got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
KORE, Springfield, Eugene. I'm Steve Mims. You can listen to me on The Drive weekdays from 3 to 6 on the Sports Animal Eugene.
The Drive, the Power Hour, 5 o'clock hour here on the Sports Animal Audio Network. Welcoming in our friends down in the Rogue Valley on the A Sports Radio, Fox Sports Newport, KNCU, 1490 AM, 92.3 FM, KSKR, and KWRZ, The Score in Roseburg, and covering the Klamath Basin like a blanket, AM 960 Sports, KLAD. That's the Sports Animal Audio Network. More stations coming on next week, friends. Thanks for all the support. We started out the program talking about Javon Edmonds, who ranked Oregon 10th in the preseason poll, and he's getting lots of love, especially from one of our listeners, Blaine Liberator, a boomer at Blaine Liberator 2209, says Javon must have gotten denied from the U of O School of Journalism. 10th? Absurd. It's one of the comments.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
One of the comments we've got on the feed that we are live on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, as well as on the audio network. And we're streaming live as well at sportsanimalEUG.com. So let's head on over to the Oregon Man Clicks hotline. Welcome in our good friend. I got to make sure everything's okay with our buddy George Reister, who you can listen and watch on the Unafraid of Show. You can follow him, George Reister. He's CW. He is also on 3, and you keep adding things on. Talking Ducks with Aaron Fentress. George, when do you sleep?
Sleep? What the hell is sleep, man? I'm actually at football practice right now because I'm helping coach one of the local high schools around here too, and so yes, I am. I could not be any more busy in the fall, but at the same time I love it. This is what I enjoy doing, and my family knows what we signed up for, and it's a busy fall and everybody loves it.
All right, George, and obviously we appreciate you because you give us time every single week on this program and will through the fall. So we appreciate your insight. Former NFL great, Oregon great as well. So, by the way, did you get the car back with all the volleyball equipment in Hawaii?
Man,
come on
yes,
now,
man.
Okay.
Well, listen, they towed the ball when it was. I'm sorry, they towed the car when it was not supposed to be towed. First and foremost, and then I called and they said, "Oh yeah, it'll be $85 to get it." So I get there, and they're like, "Oh no, actually it's 150. Oh no, I'm sorry, 125 all cash."
No, come on now.
I'm like,
that sniffs
what?
of something now.
That's what I said too.
No.
Yeah, that's scammery. That is
Very
scammery.
scammy.
That
yes.
is very scammy. So how did the kiddo play in Hawaii? She did good.
She played well. She's on the Sierra Canyon is the #1 volleyball team in the country, and they won the tournament. It was they did a great job. So
everything good.
It was worth the trip.
All right, so do you know this guy in Syracuse, Javon Edmonds? We're calling him out. We've asked him to come on the program. We thought we were going to get him on the program today, ranking Oregon 10th in the AP preseason poll. George,
he was the one that had Miami #1,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Because I've done it. I do every single week on the show.
Yeah.
We do an AP poll deep dive and look at some of the strangest votes that you could possibly imagine. And listen, I mean, I guess he don't see it how everybody else sees it. That this is one of the most complete rosters. And so I can deal with you not putting Oregon 1.
Yeah.
I can deal with you not putting them 2, not even 3. But anywhere below 4 just feels abusive. It feels like you're being a little bit disingenuous.
Right. It feels like you're making some sort of statement. We tried to get him on the show, George. We wanted to get answers for ourselves.
And we have an open call to him saying you can come on and just explain what your thought process is. We're not going to attack you, but we just want to understand, because I know it's hard. You're going off of of a roster or whatever, but come on, man. Just come on.
And here's the thing that I like my stance on AP photos, okay? Is that these are people in general trying to do the best job that they can, okay? However, it is very, like if you think about it, a lot of these people are actually on beats.
Yeah.
So so they're covering a specific team. So they're writing about a specific team or a specific conference every single day. And then they're in a situation where they don't get a chance to. They're at a particular game. They have stories due that night. So how can they possibly watch enough football to really have the best opinion on voting? You know what I mean? On what teams really are. And so I give them a lot more grace, because I do know that it's a tough job, and to try to consume a lot of football, because I know how much I consume just to be able to do my show, and I'm not writing and doing and have stories that have to be filed about a particular player profile and all of this stuff. So I know how hard it is for me. So I give them some grace, but that don't mean that when you absolutely blow it, that you shouldn't have questions to answer.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we're going to have a segment every week where we're going to say, what is Javon? Who's his top 10 this week? And we're going to run it down for everybody. We might even do like a song or something for him every single week here on the drive.
And there was a bunch of teams that had a big variance.
Yeah.
But there was no team that had a bigger variance than USC. They were as high as 8th and as low as 25th.
That's crazy to me. But that's that. And I think you touched on it, is there's a regional bias as well, because you can only have so many eyeballs. And if you're covering a team, or you're covering SEC, or you're covering the ACC, or you're covering something up in the Northeast, you're not going to necessarily have the eyeballs on stuff that moves past the Mississippi.
For sure. And you got to remember the reverse of it too, that there are people that are intentionally trying not to be biased and then overly critical of the teams in their region.
Agreed.
Because they don't want to come off as biased.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, George, we want to move. I do want to talk about the Ducks a little bit, but we've been talking a lot over the last week or so. We're with George Reister, former NFL great, former Oregon Duck legend, and he's got his own brand. And follow him at George Reister on all the socials, and absolutely get on the Unafraid show. It is unbiased, unfiltered, no spin, and just the truth. And that's on YouTube. You got to go find that. So, George, NFL preseason, I say get rid of it. You were a player. You went through it. Do we keep it? Is there value there? Because I just think it's all this opportunity for things to fail with injuries. And man, these guys are pros. I mean, you can find a better way than playing games, right?
Well, okay.
All right.
So I will say I am, after playing in the preseason, I thought 4 was too many. I think 2 is the proper number.
Okay.
And the reason why is, and then 1 joint group practice.
There you go.
And the main reason is because this is a football product. This is an entertainment product. So you do need your players to be sharper. And you see more and more quarterbacks that are playing in the preseason now. Like Patrick Mahomes, he gets in there. Like a lot of the top quarterbacks, they get a little bit of time in there. But even more than that, and putting a good product out on the field on week 1 for your business, it is also like that's where undrafted guys and low drafted guys, that's where they get a chance to make the team. Like if you were just coming into it like Oregon with your team roster set already, that's different. But when you have to make cuts, how do you figure out who can really do it? Because there are people that look excellent in practice, but then when the lights come on, they vanish.
Yeah, because
then there's people that the other way as well.
Yeah, because you can't simulate game speed in practice, right?
Yep.
Well, I guess my question then would be, George, because in college, there's no preseason. You just start off with week 1 of the regular season. Obviously, there's different levels, but what is the difference between the college level and the pro level where you need that sort of ramp up for the pro level?
Well, I think I would not be upset with the ramp up in the college level either. That's why there's a lot of sloppiness going on in week 1 in college football. And the biggest gains for a team are in between week 1 and week 2, because they get a chance to clean everything up. Everybody gets their timing going, and the quarterbacks get on more, and then the O-line communicates better. So you get better at football by playing football. So I do think like that college, that it's different. I like that there is no preseason games, but if you could do an inter squad scrimmage with somebody or something, you would see a better product on week 1.
George Reister joining us. You can follow him on the socials. George Reister. He talks Ducks with Aaron Fentress, and he's also George. So can you explain a little bit more what you're doing with CW this fall?
Yeah. I'll be in studio prior to games, so we will have ACC games and Pac-12 games every single week, and I'll be on there and talking in front of the big board, sitting at the desk in my suit and halftime and everything else. So yeah.
Are you excited about the Pac-12?
Yes, I am. And the main reason why I am excited is because of Teresa Gold. I think that she has been a phenomenal commissioner after Larry Michael Scott.
Yeah.
And the reason why I call him Larry Michael Scott is because of The Office.
Yeah, I know. I know how you do it. We caught that, buddy. We caught it. That
It
was
took
very
me a
good.
second, but I
I got it right away. I was just letting you have your moment. That's all right.
Yeah, dude. If he were a plant from the SEC to screw up the Pac-12, he wouldn't have done anything differently. But she's done a great job of putting the league back together. We've been on conference calls. Her energy, her leadership, it's infectious. And her whole goal for the conference is to be a disruptor in college football, is to get teams into the college football playoff and for people not to look at it as a G6 league, that it will be, the whole goal is to be established that this is a top 5 league in college football.
Yep, absolutely.
How important is Boise State going to be to that equation? Because they've always been that team to me where it
Very.
feels like they're punching up and they could take that next step.
Yes. Yeah. I think Boise State, Texas State, and Fresno State are all teams that can make that next jump and that next leap.
So, George, if you were Jamarcus Shepard and you had the whiteboard and you wiped everything clean and you had to start from the beginning, and obviously I know what the answer is probably going to be, you start on the lines, obviously, but then after that, because you know the foundation that has to be, where does Jamarcus Shepard need to capture this team with some of the, not very many, but some holdovers and the kids that he's bringing in now? And those first 3 games are going to be really tough. You got Houston, you got Texas Tech, and you got Montana. I'm not sleeping on Montana, man. That's going to be a good football program.
Yeah,
So
he's got to get them to play hard, play fast, and play confident. Like he needs them to come out and be physical as well and be disciplined, because that's going to be the difference in them winning a lot of football games and them not winning a lot of football games. Because when they go into the Pac-12, their expectation should be to dominate inside the Pac-12.
Well, do you think they can do that year one, or do you think they're going to be on a little bit of a road to that path? Because new coaching staff, everything's kind of new there.
I mean, if you think about outside of Boise State, they should be the most talented team there. So I do think that there is opportunity for them. It's just a matter of can they take advantage of it, because this is a proud Beavers fan base, and I know that they're disappointed by the way that things have transpired for over the last couple of years, and honestly, it sucks because like those fans are good.
Yeah,
those fans are good, and they deserve better than what they've gotten right now.
All right, George, last question for you, and we'll swing it over to the Ducks. Dan Lanning's talked about what he's learned in the first 5 years of being a coach, and he didn't reveal everything to the reporters that asked the question, but he said, he's learned a little bit about how he needs to have other people to be somewhat of a voice in the room. So your impressions of Dan Lanning in his first 5 years at Oregon heading into this year, there's a ton of expectations with Dante Moore coming back, all the skill positions, that massive defensive line. I mean, Oregon is one of those favorites this year. So how would you evaluate Dan Lanning in this first 5 years and what he needs to do this year?
I would say he's done a great job. I mean, the dude has been in the college football quarterfinals, college football semifinals, and most importantly, he doesn't lose to teams that he's not supposed to lose to.
Yeah.
So he's putting himself in a situation where Oregon has a shot each and every year. But this is only going into his 5th year as a head coach. But we live in a microwave society where people are like, I don't know if Dan can get it done and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing that they said about Kirby Smart until year 6 when he won it. Same thing they said about Ryan Day until year 6 when he won it. Nick Saban was a teenager coaching prior to winning, and so was and I think Dabo won around year, I forget what year. I think he was in year,
I want to say it was 8 or 9. It was 8 or 9. Yeah, I think so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So these teams take time. Coaches have to mature. They got to build programs. They got to recruit. And no matter how many resources that you are given, because I remember asking Dan this year, are you comfortable in this seat yet? And he was like, I think I finally am. Because it takes a long time for you to be, even though that you are comfortable being the man, like it's different when you're a vet. And now he's a veteran coach in terms of, because he's been to the playoff twice. He's recruited. He's done all the things at a very high level for a number of years.
Well, George, we appreciate your insight. It's going to be fascinating this year, but from wildly different perspectives with Oregon and with Oregon State. I'm interested. The storylines are going to be awesome. This is going to be fun covering college football in the fall here in just our geographic area, but throughout the entire landscape, and we'll be locked into you for the entire season and every single week here on the program. Thanks, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. George Reister. George, when he's ready to go, man, he's ready to go.
He's ready.
Sports Animal Audio Network, live in Klamath Falls, Roseburg, Newport, and Medford. When we return, our live golfers getting what they deserve. Rory McIlroy thinks so. If you want to take his opinion, live golf is in disarray. We'll talk about that. And then Zach Neal, the great Cadillac, Zachary C. Neal joins us at the bottom of the hour here on The Drive.
Nothing is too big for the sports animal to handle. That's what she said. You're home for me, Dan Patrick, 6 to 9 a.m. weekdays, and The Drive with Danny, Steve, and Justin from 3 to 6. This is the sports animal.
When you're in...
At Mercedes-Benz of Eugene, we do things a little bit differently. We're one of the last independently owned automotive dealerships with a young and energetic sales staff, no pressure sales tactics, and you don't have to travel outside of Linn County to get the best deal possible. We have more than 200 new and pre-owned vehicles in stock now, and we invite you to come see for yourself at Mercedes-Benz of Eugene.
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yep, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Jansen Beach, Clackamas, Beaverton, Salem, and Eugene, Video Only.
School sports are played by humans, coached by humans, and officiated by humans. So the next time you're sitting in the stands at a school athletic event, please remember this and maintain your humanity, especially when it comes to judging and critiquing athletes, coaches, and officials. Please show your fellow humans some respect. They'll appreciate your empathy.
This message presented by the OSAA and the Oregon Athletic Directors Association.
Every 36 seconds, a vehicle is stolen in the United States. Cars are an important investment, and you have the power to protect it. Remove valuables from your car or place out of view. Roll up your windows completely. Don't leave your car running while unattended, especially during the winter. And always lock your doors and take your keys or fob with you. If you know something about a vehicle theft, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB.
This is a public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
There's a threat targeting America: Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, this dangerous disease can cause life-changing health problems and is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. So it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside and seeing a doctor if you experience the warning signs, which can include joint pain and flu-like symptoms. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
1050 AM and 1029 FM and the sportsanimalueugene.com. Broadcasting from the Bigfoot Beverages Studios. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
If you missed any of the interview we just had with George Reister, former Oregon great, NFL player for almost a decade, you can go back to the podcast, Sports Animal EUG on all the socials. And subscribe wherever you're at. If you're on Podverse or Spotify or iHeart or Amazon, Apple, any of those, we're on the podcast. Just go Sports Animal EUG. You can also look up The Drive, I think, but Sports Animal EUG is going to get you to where you need to go. And that'll come up near the end of the program or after the program's over. We got to end the program, and then Justin's going to sit here for an hour or so and do all that stuff.
I've gotten better. Like anything,
you know,
if you do it over and over again, you can be more efficient. Maybe I'm getting out of here at 6:30.
Justin is, he's got his clips. He can put himself up there and be a superstar on all the social media.
I have the control. I can.
Yeah, believe me.
Ones
Oh,
with
yeah.
myself.
I know. Yeah, put yourself out there, man. I don't care. I'm on my downslide. You're on your upslide. It doesn't matter to me. YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch as well. Live. Zach Neal coming up. Zachary C. Neal officially. Cadillac is going to join us from Ducks Wire. We're going to talk a lot more Ducks. So we didn't. The reason I did that on purpose with George is we didn't talk a lot of Ducks because we're going to have Zach on, so we can talk a lot of Ducks with Zach. So it was great. It was great hearing his perspective. So he says 2 games, 2 preseason games in the NFL. That's all he says. That's all you need.
Player's perspective now. We need it.
So so he says, they do need a ramp up. See, I didn't think they needed a ramp up, Baby J. I mean, I just always just go out there and throw, man. Come on, what are you doing?
Well, I was surprised when he said that he felt like there needed to be a college preseason game to.
But how do you do that?
I don't know how you would do that in college.
They all have to count. You can't do like exhibition games and a simulated game, but then you're not at game speed. That's the whole
logic
thing.
Makes sense though. I can understand now that he's explained it.
So Scotty Scheffler says he is not opposed to live golf players potentially returning to the PGA Tour because they bring value. He wants to compete against the best in the world. He is number one, and he's on my fantasy golf team. So yes, I love that. Rory McIlroy. Surprise, surprise. If you're a golfer, you know that Roy does not like live. He was one of the leaders of, those guys are just grabbing money. You're destroying the sanctity of the game. He's unsure what value live golfer stars would bring to the tour if they come back. I mean, so this is the direct quote. I mean, I would argue, have they brought value to live? McIlroy said. So they're at the BMW Championship in Belvedere Country Club. He thinks the PGA Tour is in a really good spot. Liv is holding their final tournament of 2026 at the club at Chatham Hills in Westfield, Indiana. And bonus points if you know where that is on the map. New Liv CEO Scott O'Neill says the struggling circuit has an agreement in place with a lead investor to continue playing beyond the season, but it's unclear whether golfers like John Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, Cam Smith, and others will stay on as they're going to reduce the money. This was a money grab for the ones that went over to live. So
surely you can't be serious. I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Really? A money grab?
I don't hate on a player that says I can get guaranteed money. So here's the thing people maybe not understand about golf is that, yes, there are sponsorships. Yes, there are the golfer themselves, they pay for everything. They pay for their own flights. They pay for their own hotels. They pay for whatever they're doing expense-wise. And they pay their support people. So their agents, their coaches, their caddies, if they win, they're paying percentages. So what might look like that's the way it's set up. So what might look like this, wow, they made $2 million this weekend. They literally out of that $2 million, maybe now again, this is going to sound really bad. It's $500,000.
Oh no, only $500,000.
Off
what
of
are we
$2 million.
going to do?
Okay, see,
how are you going to feed your family?
I knew I was going to lose you there.
$500,000.
But then they have their other expenses that come out of that as well.
Of course,
and then there's taxes and everything else, so it just keeps getting reduced. So I mean, listen, if someone said I was going to pay you, Justin, $1 million, or no, let's do this. I'm going to pay you $50,000, but by the time we're done with that, you're going to have $10,000 in your pocket. How would you feel?
I would feel like that's very different. $10,000 versus $500.
Okay,
I get what you're saying. That it's not what it appears to be, and it's a lot less. And that by the time you get to the final number,
that's why they went to live, because they were guaranteed money. They were guaranteed if they showed up at a tournament, they were going to make at least this amount so they could cover all their expenses and have money in the bank.
And I can appreciate that to a certain point, but it also seems to me that being said, that it's pretty clear, I would say, that they aren't going to be able to keep these guys around, DeChambeau, Cameron Smith, John Rahm, if they don't have the biggest purses, because it seems to me that was the only reason they went over there in the first place. And if it's the only reason they went over in the first place, then it probably wasn't the best thing for golf as a sport.
So they're getting what they deserve.
I think they might be.
And gonna eat some humble.
They made their bed, right?
Humble pie. There's some of them that are applying for the DP World Tour in Europe because they want to try and get themselves back to the PGA. This is going to be interesting if you're a golfer. We'll see how it shakes out. When we come back, we will have Zachary Senior, our friend Cadillac, is going to be live with us here on The Drive and the Sports Animal Audio Network. Hang on, kids.
1050 AM, 1029 FM, and the SportsAnimalEugene.com. Other stations can say they cover the Ducks and Beavers, but we bring the receipts. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
At Mercedes-Benz of Eugene, we do things a little bit differently. We're one of the last independently owned automotive dealerships with a young and energetic sales staff, no pressure sales tactics, and you don't have to travel outside of Lane County to get the best deal possible. We have more than 200 new and pre-owned vehicles in stock now, and we invite you to come see for yourself at Mercedes-Benz of Eugene.
Die for. In fact,
at Mercedes-Benz of Eugene, we do things a little bit differently. We're one of the last independently owned automotive dealerships with a young and energetic sales staff, no pressure sales tactics, and you don't have to travel outside of Lane County to get the best deal possible. We have more than 200 new and pre-owned vehicles in stock now, and we invite you to come see for yourself at Mercedes-Benz of Eugene.
West 11th in Eugene. Dalton Carpet is family owned and operated and proud to serve you for 30 years. Now more than ever, someone you know is walking on a Dalton floor. Do you have a flooring project? Get your summer off to a new start. Lane County's best selection with hundreds of rolls of carpet and thousands of feet of click-together flooring on display and in stock right now at unbeatable prices. Come see us today at Dalton Carpet, right here on West 11th in Eugene.
In Oregon, we're taking a stand against hate crimes.
A stand for inclusion,
For acceptance.
civility,
Unity.
With a new law, we're taking a stand against bias,
against bigotry,
prejudice, homophobia,
other phobia
against violence and intimidation,
of any kind.
so we can make a real difference.
It's a stand for our future.
So no one has to be the victim of a hate crime.
Because we're all Oregonians.
And taking a stand
Is what we do. Learn more at standagainst.hate.oregon.gov.
A message from the Oregon Department of Justice.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it'll take years to get out of debt. Call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 10 million people without destroying your credit. They can reduce your interest rates, lower your total payments up to 50% to get you out of debt fast. For a free consultation, call Consolidated Credit now. The program works.
Call 800-499-4107. 800-499-4107. 800-499-4107.
Consolidated Credit Solutions Incorporated, 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33313. Licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Kansas CSO 0019051. Maryland DM 1492. Oregon DM 892. Licensed by the Virginia State Corporation Commission, license number DC83. Service may adversely affect the individual's credit. Non-payment of debts may lead to additional finance charges or collections activity, including legal action. Actual interest rates, length of program, and monthly payment reductions will vary by consumer and creditor. Yours could be higher or lower. Not a loan company. We do not lend money.
Don't change the channel. Your radio might explode. Okay, not really, but you miss a minute of The Drive, you might miss something, well, spectacular.
On we go.
The Drive is back on 102.9 FM and 1050 AM. The Sports Animal.
What location would you start a sports franchise in? One, I don't know what to do with my hands, and secondly, is it would all depend on the sport. So we'll talk about that in the last segment of the program here on The Drive. Thanks for hanging out on the Sports Animal Audio Network. We are live in Klamath Falls on AM 960 Sports KLAD, in Roseburg on The Score, in Newport at KNCU on the A Sports Radio the kids down there at KDSO, thanks for tuning in, and more stations coming on next week, and a big announcement on Friday on the program. We like big announcements, so it's coming up soon. I hear kids in the background. We got Zachary Neal, our friend. You can follow him, Zachary C. Neal, on the socials, Ducks Wire. He is Believe in Oregon podcast. He is also Ducks Rising. He's got his own deal going on, man, and he covers the Ducks for us. He's on weekly. We catching up with him here on a Wednesday. Zach, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm playing hurt today. I am sick.
Happened?
My kids got me sick. I've got a cold, your classic August cold. So I've got a head cold, but I'm bearing through it for you guys.
We appreciate it. We very
Hang
much
in there,
appreciate it.
man. Yeah,
So
we
if I
do.
sound worse than usual, that's why.
No, you actually sound a lot better because you're not on the phone. We've got your live studio.
much
So if
better.
you're on the live stream with YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, you can see Zachary. You can wave to the kids.
He still looks good.
Yeah, no, he looks
Appreciate
awesome, man. Yeah,
Don't
and the
feel good,
background
but-
is the backdrop the same as we had last time. You're always in the same
same.
spot, right? Yeah.
It's the
Okay.
same.
But, all right. So we had fun with George Reister. And we're helping right now Javon Edmonds get more Twitter followers apparently, because he ranked Oregon 10th in the AP preseason poll. And we asked him on the program, and he's not. He initially, Justin, help me out here.
He said he
yes,
was available, and then I did
and
not hear from him.
then he went dark. I think he all of a sudden looked up where we were at. So it's Javon Edmonds, 45. He covers Syracuse for the Syracuse Post-Standard, but he is a voter in the AP. Zach, if you were a voter in any of these polls, how would you approach it? Because you can't cover everybody. You can't watch all the film, and you're also having to take care of your own business, which is feeding a fan base with what you cover on a day in and day out basis. So how would you approach this?
I think it's especially hard preseason to kind of figure out what that top 25 is, because you're literally have nothing to go off of. So you're kind of looking at returning production, who did a lot in the transfer portal. Obviously, some coaches get more credit than others for what they've done track record wise. But I think after week 1 or week 2, you got a lot more, stuff to go on to base this off of. But I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of preseason polls, just because it's like we're all kind of throwing crap on the wall and seeing what sticks. Like, look at last year's. I think there was 12 top 25 preseason teams last year that did not end up ranked at the end. Correct me if I'm wrong. You probably know that
Yes,
stat.
including I think 2 in the top 5.
Right.
Exactly. So we talked to Dan Lanning about it yesterday. I asked him, and people have given me crap online about, it was a dumb question. I knew
No, it's not.
get from him. that
Danny
he-
loved it.
I love that.
Danny
question.
loved that
I
question.
love that
Yeah.
question.
And so, I mean, you ask him, they don't care. He'd rather be ranked 10th than ranked 2nd, because he doesn't want the target on his back. But, they don't care in the end what they're ranked. But, they're ranked number 2. I think it's pretty cool as someone who covers the Ducks, and, Oregon fans think it's pretty cool. But in the end, it does not mean a single thing.
No, and Dan Lanning definitely does not care about it. And you're there at all the press conferences. You get to ask a lot of great questions. What kind of things, because access, we've talked about this, is so limited now. Even if, we talk about covering every other team besides the one you're covering might be difficult. I think covering the team you're covering is even more difficult nowadays. So what kind of things are you asking to try to get some more information and get tangible things that we're going to learn about this Oregon football team this season?
Yeah, ultimately, it's about, some of the best stuff we get nowadays is from these coaches and players, and not Dan Lanning, because he knows that he's not going to tell us anything. He knows how not to tell us anything.
He's
But
savvy.
He's really good at it, honestly. The position coaches and the players, sometimes they'll let stuff slip. Not slip like in a bad way, but they'll give us a little bit more information that we didn't know. So it's asking about young players, asking about position flexibility, see where people are playing, see who's popping. Like, we heard a name I've heard a million times this fall so far is Dutch Horrisk. Like, he's a freshman who's been doing a lot, it sounds like, and could maybe see some of the field this year. Nasir Wyatt, we could talk about, like, for his position flexibility, where he's going to be on the field, maybe not edge rusher, maybe a linebacker. Like, there's little things that you pick up on based on what you ask, but getting the non Dan Lanning coaches and then some of the players, see what they have to say, is usually the best bet.
DucksWire is where you can find him. One of the platforms where you can find him, Zachary C. Neal on the socials. We call him Cadillac, and he joins us here on The Drive on the Sports Animal Audio Network statewide here, and also on the YouTube, Twitter, and the Twitch, all the socials. We are just covering everything like a blanket here as we head to the fall, and Zach will be with us every single week through this football season. Zach, so we try and find the nuggets. And I know this is where you really get into, not the weeds, but this is where it's fun for you, is to find that story and find that guy that is going to be like off that radar, but is going to make an impact. Are you finding something or a position group that it's just like you're kind of zoning in on and saying, you know what, I'd really like to find out more about it and how they can impact the season coming up?
I kind of just mentioned it with, it's at the linebacker and on the defensive line for me. One guy I haven't mentioned, and everyone knows Tank Jones. It's the 5-star freshman defensive lineman. But the fact that he came to Oregon this winter, and he was listed at 245. We talked to Mateo yesterday. I think he was probably around 255, 260. He's listed today on their new depth chart at 301 pounds as an edge rusher. And they said that he's moving inside, outside. He's playing with his hand in the dirt where he can. Watching what he does and how he's able to move around this defense is going to be fascinating to me. And then also with another quote unquote edge rusher, Nasir Wyatt, there's not a ton of snaps at the edge rusher position with Mateo and Tatum out there. It sounds like they're moving him around quite a bit, and he might play a little bit in that inside linebacker role, which we think, it would explain a lot of like what they want to do at that position. If he can be one of those guys, kind of be more of this is a high honor to give him, but someone like a Micah Parsons or Arvell Reese type player. I'm not saying he's that yet, but that type of role, someone who can be hand in the dirt on the edge, 5-6 technique, or standing back in the middle of the defense. So those are just a couple things that we've picked up so far that I'm at least intrigued by.
So Danny and I have talked about this team kind of extensively at this point. It's kind of the part of the year we're in. It feels like we're almost asking some of the same questions we've been asking for months and months now. It seems like, I don't say that tongue in cheek, but it seems like, okay, there's not really questions about the defensive line. Obviously, there's not questions about the secondary. Pretty much the linebacker core, we have some questions, but there's some good athletes in there. Quarterback wise, obviously we know the
skill positions.
Skill positions.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? Is there any other position group? Like, are there any questions about the skill positions, the running back room? Like, I know now that there was some weird stuff going on with the Jordan Davison stuff. It raised some questions maybe about, what do you have if Jordan Davison's there? Like, is that kind of where you're at, where you feel like there's not really any questions in those skill positions, or what do you think?
I think the question is more not a player centric thing. To me, it's kind of more of a personnel scheme type thing. I'm curious. This team was so heavy 12 personnel last year, trying to get 2 tight ends on the field with Kenyon and Jamar, because they had great tight ends.
Yeah.
You don't really have that as much this year. I think we expect big things from Kendra Harrison. I think Marcus Dixon is going to be a really good player in the run game. But you got Jamar Johnson, and then I think it's fair to say that there's a little bit of a drop-off in talent. I'm curious to see how that changes this offense as a whole, how much they run 11 personnel, how much they run 12 personnel, 21 personnel. So, because at the granular level, there's not many questions I have about the players on this team. I think they're all very talented. I think the coaches are very talented, and we'll get them into a position where they can succeed. So at this point, it's kind of boring, but I'm looking more macro than micro.
So I have asked Drew Merringer if he's going to run 4 tight ends at one time, and he was non-responsive. He didn't say no. When I asked him that question. Of course, he's elevated to the OC, but I think there has been questions, by the way, where there's Zach Neal here on The Drive, the Sports Animal Audio Network. I think one of the other questions, and Justin touched on the players, but I think another question that I've been hearing from the people I talk to outside of our bubble is, what about the coordinators, man? There aren't very many teams, and we can take a look across the landscape. There aren't very many teams that change their OC and DC in the exact same year unless they're doing a rebuild. Oregon's absolutely not in rebuild mode, but they brought these coaches up through their program. Drew Merringer has not been an OC before. Chris Hampton has, and they were both co-coordinators last year. So is there any concern about that if you're an Oregon fan?
Just one quick correction. Maringer has been an OC before. He was at Rutgers.
Oh, sorry.
But
Okay, that was bad.
It's fine.
Okay,
That's
sorry.
fine.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm
Um,
glad. Please believe me, my wife will be happy you corrected me. So now that's the
Totally.
third time today. That's great.
Totally. I'm not concerned. I understand if people are looking for reasons to be concerned about anything on this team, that's where they land. You know, it's one of the easier things to have questions about because there's not many things to have questions about with this team. In the end, it's just, you know, I joke with Travis on Ducks Rising all the time. They're like, you got to trust the staff. You got to trust Dan Lanning because so far he has not given us any reason to believe that he's not going to make a great hire. They knew going into this offseason they needed a defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator. They could have hired just about anyone in the nation, if I'm being honest. Like, I think that that's a pretty premier job. You come to Oregon, be a coordinator, you're going to get a head coaching job at some point. They stayed in-house, and they went with Maringer, and they went with Hampton. That says all I need to hear. I mean, the coaches believe in them. The players absolutely seem to love them. I don't know. Like, I've got no concern about it. We'll see what we're saying week 4 after the USC game and if this is a change in tune at all. But right now, I've got zero reason to be concerned.
And I'm with you. You got to trust staff. You got to trust Dan Lanning. I mean, he's got a proven track record at this point. I do think there is one place there is a roster question, or I think Oregon fans would hope that it's not going to come into play this year, and that's in the quarterback room, and something that's kind of been behind the scenes a little bit more. Obviously, you got Dylan Raiola, you've got Achilles Smith Jr., you got Brock Thomas. The backup quarterbacks obviously are very solid, but hearing from Koa Kai a couple days ago, and then from Dante Moore yesterday, Achilles was mentioned a couple times, very, very highly regarded in terms of the way he's improved
and interacting with the rest of the room.
100%.
Right, pushing him.
What do you see as the future for that quarterback room? Because we know they want Dante this year, like unless it's a disaster. But you know, there's some concern that people have had over the years of are Oregon going to be able to recruit their guy and develop him and have him be the starter rather than bring a transfer? And I say that the guys they brought in as transfers are very unique cases. Where do you see in terms of a guy like Achilles? Like, do you think he's ever going to get a chance to start?
I think that's one of the things that's come up in those interviews that you were talking about earlier that has been a little bit notable. I mean, people are singing the praises of Achilles so far, and I think that's one of the things you hear, and it's like, okay, I'm going to pay attention to this. Will it matter this year? Probably not. I think that if Dante ever goes out this year, I believe it will be Dylan Raiola, maybe Brock Thomas. I don't think that Achilles is ready quite yet, but I also think that this year is a bit of a, dare I say, a tryout year for Raiola for if he can be that guy next year. Because I think that someone like Achilles could push him. And then you look at maybe 2028, if Achilles does stick around, you got Will Minsell coming in, like he could definitely vie for this starting job. You hear, I mean, it's tough. We haven't seen him play. We can't get into practice. We don't see him on the field at all. But you hear everything that everyone's saying about it. He's 6'6", 245. I mean, Dante's saying he looks like Cam Newton out there running. Like that's stuff you love to hear about this redshirt freshman quarterback who we've never seen before on the field. Who am I to say that he can't be the guy? I don't know. I just believe what I hear, and it sounds like he's doing great things.
So one last question for you before we let you go, and I'm sorry you're not feeling well. It's been running through a lot of people here. Yeah. I haven't gotten it yet, so please, I'm glad that we have this buffer between us, so it doesn't get to me. Yeah, not in the studio. Thank you, appreciate that. I'm going to stay on Dylan Raiola for a second because there was a bit of a kerfuffle, and I think there was some things taken out of context. It seems like this guy knows what his role is going to be. He knows what he got into, eyes wide open, coming in, and he's seen the plan with a Dylan Gabriel, with a Bo Nix, and others that have come to Oregon, and even Dante Moore sitting back and waiting. Do you think he is that guy that can take that next step and be he's going to be a good teammate this year?
I have no reason not to believe it. I mean, yeah, you see, like you mentioned, all of the noise online after media day, and some of his quotes got taken out of context. Most of the noise is coming from Nebraska fans, and that's people who have a bone to pick with him, understandably so. I totally get it, but every time I've talked to the kid, he's been very genuine. I think he's a talented player. We saw coming out of high school what he could do. We saw him in 2 years starting in Nebraska. He can throw the ball. He's a good player, big kid too. I'm not in the locker room with him, obviously. Like I think he's a good teammate. I hear that he's a pretty good teammate. We'll see how that goes for a year when he's the one sitting on the sideline with a clipboard instead of the one out there playing. I would like to believe that he can be what Dante Moore was to Dylan Gabriel, but we got to see it first. So I've got full expectations that he is going to be that guy this year to back up Dante and come in when necessary, hopefully not necessary at all. And then what happens next year, we'll see. But I believe he came here knowing that 2027 was the year. And I think that's when we see him.
All right, so Bud, get yourself better. A little tea, a
I'll try.
little lemon, just humidifier, whatever it takes. I don't know what you're gonna need, but the kids will bring stuff in regardless, no matter what, right?
It doesn't stop. And we're going to the coast for a wedding this weekend, a little parents getaway. So I'm really hoping to be healthy by then.
Oh God, I pray that for you, Zach. Thanks, bud. We're looking forward to hanging out with you all season long, bud. We appreciate you.
I can't wait. I couldn't miss this opportunity, even if I don't feel very good.
We appreciate your effort, man.
All
That's
right.
awesome. It's Cadillac Zach Neal joining us here on The Drive. All right, one more break, and when we come back, what are you talking about when we come back? So, what location would you want to start a sports franchise?
it's a good one.
So, it is. But again, what franchise? We talking football? We talking the beautiful games? Soccer? Are we talking baseball?
I think that this is it's open. I think you could say that I want to make a baseball team here, or I want to do a football team there.
I think you need to pick your sport first, and then we can talk about location. Right? I got mine. You think about yours. When we come back, we'll wind up the program here for a Wednesday on the Sports Animal Audio Network and The Drive.
Sometimes they're right.
Rest my case.
Sometimes they're wrong.
You want
At Mercedes-Benz of Eugene, we do things a little bit differently. We're one of the last independently owned automotive dealerships with a young and energetic sales staff, no pressure sales tactics, and you don't have to travel outside of Linn County to get the best deal possible. We have more than 200 new and pre-owned vehicles in stock now, and we invite you to come see for yourself at Mercedes-Benz of Eugene.
Killer Burger, brought to you by another Eugene legend, LaMichael James. The $11 Killer Box Lunch, only at Killer Burger on Coburg Road in Eugene.
Beaver Nation, this is your moment to be part of something bigger. Oregon State football is building the future, and we want you with us at Reser Stadium this fall. With 2026 mini plans, you can secure your seats for some of the biggest games of the season and experience the energy of Beaver football your way. Visit beavertickets.com or call 1-800-GO-BEAVS to purchase your mini plan today. Pack Reser, build the legacy. Go Beavs!
Fresh flowers, bouquets, plants, and custom arrangements for all occasions at Eugene's Flower Home. You'll discover that and so much more. Stop by Eugene's Flower Home to find just what you're looking for. You can shop in-store or online with local and nationwide delivery. Whether it's birthdays, anniversaries, or other special occasions, it's available at Eugene's Flower Home, 1193 Harlow Road, Springfield, across from the south entrance to the shops at Gateway, 541-485-3655, eugenesflowerhome.com.
Cancer affects all of us. Today alone, 5,370 people in the United States will be diagnosed with cancer. That's why Stand Up to Cancer funds and develops the newest and most promising cancer treatments to help patients today. Stand Up to Cancer wants to provide you with every opportunity to join in this mission. By donating your home, land, or commercial property, you can help Stand Up to Cancer fund innovative cancer research. Donating eases the stress associated with selling a home and can also help lead to the next breakthrough in cancer prevention, diagnosis, and treatment. Stand Up to Cancer makes the process easy, and it may be tax deductible. It will take all of us standing up together to put an end to cancer as we know it. Help us save lives right now. Your home or property could hold the key to the next breakthrough in cancer research. Visit standuptocancer.org/giveproperty to learn more.
As a parent, you said you'd never give up the convertible. Look, the van even has its own backing. You said you'd never schedule your life around a stuffed animal.
Nobody panic. Bun Bun is still at daycare.
And never put them in harm's way.
I'll be right back, little man. Just gonna pop in the store for diapers.
But never happens. Temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you every time you park the car. Stop, Locked. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Nothing is too big for the sports animal to handle. That's what she said. You're home for me, Dan Patrick, 6 to 9 a.m. weekdays, and The Drive with Danny, Steve, and Justin from 3 to 6. This is the sports animal.
We close out the show with a big, quick segment. Not a big segment, quick segment. Thanks again to George Reister, Zachary C. Neal. Have we ever found out what the C stands for?
Ooh, we should do a guessing game. I don't think we have.
Charles.
I was thinking Charles.
I thought Charles as well. We need to. You know what? We are not going to ask him. This needs to
It's gotta be Charles.
We have to have the reveal on the show. I'm thinking it's Charles.
I can't even think of any other.
I mean,
names
think
right now.
about
It's
Curtis,
so obvious.
Curtis.
Curtis would work.
Zachary Curtis Neal. So I know he's listening right now. He's probably chuckling as he's getting under his humidifier because he's not feeling very well. But so yeah, Zachary C. Neal and our friend George Reister. So the last part of the program, the 5 o'clock hour has been packed. Thanks for tuning in, friends on the drive. Tomorrow on the program, we've got Angie Machado. Who else do we have, Baby J? Do we have anybody else lined up? That's it. Angie Machado is
We
our
have
main guest.
Ryan Cardy.
Ryan Cardy.
And I'm going to try to get his name pronounced correctly.
That's fine. Ryan
From
Cardy.
the LA Times. He covers USC. I want to talk to him about USC football. I had him on last year on one of our shows.
That's right.
Enjoyed talking to him a lot. I think he's going to give us some good insight. We're a little closer to the season. I know we got Yogi on who does some USC.
No, it's fine.
USC
Yeah,
stuff,
USC
but-
football. I could talk USC football with him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's not voting in a poll, so I'm fine with him. This kid is not going to live this down. He's
I
going to
feel bad a
rude.
little bit.
No, I don't feel bad. Javon Edmonds, dude, you're in our crosshairs. You're ready to go, bud. All right. So if you were going to buy a sports franchise, where would you go? Oh, Christopher. Oh, yeah. So Blaine Libertor comes in and says Christopher. It could be Christopher. He might know something. I don't know if he has an inside pool. All right. So if you,
thought
what
about this.
sport?
Okay, I'll go baseball.
Okay.
I think
And
there's 2 places. I'll give you my final answer though. I'd bring
Please.
baseball back to Montreal.
Really?
I love Montreal. Montreal is one of the favorite cities I've ever been to.
Okay.
Feels like I've
No,
never been to
I'm
Europe.
not-
I'd imagine it feels like what a European city would be like. It has the French
yeah,
influence.
the French Canadian influence.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I always loved having the expos up
a
there.
very cosmopolitan city.
It is. It is a very cool city. I definitely recommend people going there. Toronto's another great city as well, and obviously they have a team there already for baseball. But I always liked Montreal to have a team. I always felt bad that they didn't, and they went to Washington, obviously, and they've had some success there. But I don't know. Montreal is a great city. Feels like they deserve some baseball.
You know what's interesting about this is because we both picked Canadian provinces.
No.
Yes, we did. I would love to have a football team in Vancouver, British Columbia. A football team in Vancouver, British Columbia. Get
Okay.
the West Coast influence. It is absolutely a pristine, gorgeous city. You've got Victoria as well, the Bouchard Gardens, all of the beauty of the West Coast, and it's Canadian. I'm just saying that would be. I thought about this. I could go baseball. I wouldn't be an NBA guy when it comes to this. So I'm going football.
Problems of the NBA is that all the places that feel like they need teams already have teams.
Well, so I could be the homer guy and go, I want baseball in Portland. And
Well, that's
I do.
what I was going to say.
And I do. Listen, if it was my second choice, if I had, you guys love my 1A, 1B.
Yeah, that's what I was like too.
Baseball in Portland.
Absolutely.
I would love it because, selfishly for us, we could it's easy then. We could drive up and watch a game.
Right.
Because right now it's like literally we got to go to Seattle. We got to go down to San Francisco. That's the closest. We got to hop on a plane or ride a train for 5.5 hours. So, all right, tomorrow on the program, Angie Machado and USC
Ryan
Carty. I'll get it right before we get on the program. Dad joke. My wife says I'm getting fatter. But in my defense, had a lot on my plate lately.
That would do it.
All right, kids, thanks for tuning in on the audio network. For Baby J, Doc. Thanks for tuning in. God bless you all. Put a smile on your face. Someone else's. They deserve it. So do you. We appreciate you. Love you. Peace.
$10:50 a.m. and 102.9 FM and the SportsAnimalEugene.com. Broadcasting from the Bigfoot Beverages Studios. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
It kind of sneaks up on you.